Wait, what? Doing what the? Alluding to defamation. This is shameful. This is like a shameful display to me, bro. What? Wait, what the dude? The host has muted your mic.
There's also an episode of a podcast. There's also an episode of a podcast.
So he's muted again. He's barely been able to respond. This is probably the most insane muting thing I've seen ever in any conversation I've ever watched online.
Okay, I've been muted again. Crazy. I haven't spoken in 10 minutes.
I've honestly never seen anything this crazy before. This endless muting. It's mental. Get your Twitch poll. Honestly, I am. Look, okay. I don't want to. Listen. I've heard the Kuihman completely destroyed Brianna Wu and counterpoints, and I've seen a few clips, so we'll see what happens. Who's Kuihman? Kuihman is Jewish, that's all you need to know. But yeah, basically Kuihman has been A-logging Brianna Wu for some time now, I believe, and he finally got a chance to speak to them last night.
Well, and that was my thing is, so I think that if I go too hard where I'm like, oh, this is oh, as a matter of fact, can you send it to me real quick?
What's going on here?
The list.
What's all this? Oh, no. So Kuihman got in a little bit too early when they're planning their strategy for the conversation. Come on, dude. Bro. Strategizing, having the convo. It's so slimy, bro. It's so slimy and political. It's gross. I hate it. This is exactly why I don't fucking like Brianna Wu. Because this is what Brianna Wu is. A fucking slimy political operator. It's grotesque to me. And Counterpoints is a fucking participant of that, right? He's like the head Brianna Wu sweeper, right? Speak about Brianna Wu on stream for any length of time, and Counterpoints pops up to defend her. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it before. It is fucking insane. And now here he is, you know, chief sweeper, strategizing with how to approach the conversation so as to not look bad. Oh, dude. I'm fucking infuriated. It drives me insane. It drives me crazy. I hate it. I fucking despise it.
Yes.
This is great. I haven't got the URL on screen, have I? No, I haven't. Smart.
Does he realise? He just
Very
realised.
What is this? God damn it. Okay. Anyways. Point.
Is that him realising? Is that him realising that Kuihman's in there? Oh no.
Being that the one thing that I think is like super
maybe not
weak on his end.
Oh no, it isn't. He doesn't know. I thought no, it's not. He doesn't know. He doesn't know yet. No. Counterpoints. Kuihman's listening to your strategizing. Kuihman is listening to your slimy political strategizing. Stop.
Is the fact that he all this other stuff or whatever, I think you can address fairly easily from a personal standpoint. And I think what I'm going to do is, if I try to answer these on your behalf, it's going to look like I'm just trying to sweep or protect. But the one thing that I think that I need to, yeah.
Oh, so you can't hear Brianna on the other side, okay?
Ah, curious. Do I let him know or not? Is Wu not in here?
Curious. He's so Jewish. Now, in all seriousness, I think this is great for Kuihman because obviously he has been, you know, talking about this stuff for a while now. So it's a good opportunity to, dude. The other day I didn't even want to fucking speak to Counterpoints. I was so annoyed. It was just, what was I talking about? It was Brianna Wu's appearance on the Now Recording podcast, and I was going over it. And literally within 10 minutes, Counterpoints was in chat. And it was being floated at me speaking to her. And I said, I don't want to talk to you. You are completely compromised operative on this topic. And it's fucking obvious, right? And, you know, Kuihman goes into a conversation with them. And what do we see? He is fucking strategizing, telling Brianna Wu what to say and what not to say in order to most effectively present like a political thing. It's fucking insane.
Well, he's just gonna say, "Oh, well, you're a liar."
Fucking hell, dude.
Yeah. Well, then he's just gonna say, "Well, I think you're a liar, and this is my earnestly held belief, so it's not defamatory." Okay. Okay, what I would say is
already
there's a few
with
things that I think are
defamation.
super weak in his argument.
What the fuck? Defamatory? What the fuck, bro? Alluding to fucking defamation.
Which is basically like a lot of these aren't verifiable. Like he showed evidence as if it was evidence, but it didn't show what he said it showed.
What didn't it show?
And then also, what was the other thing? So he presented, I think one of the weakest points that I would probably hammer him on again is the fact that like he extends all of this charity to all of the people who were like threatening you during the Gamergate era, where it's like, oh, it's all jokes, it's all satire. These weren't real death threats. She's exaggerating it. And
what the fuck, bro? Don't bite the gawk that feeds you.
Or to play victim, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then he took the Keffel's please do cocaine with all your charity money. He took that as like a serious statement. Like Brianna Wu are saying like, yeah, hey, Keffel's, go ahead and do $100,000 worth of cocaine, as if that could possibly be a serious statement instead of a joke. And I think that anybody who doesn't have autism knows that's a joke. So
it is a shame. Listen, look, okay. I don't even dislike counterpoints. I like counterpoints. We've had good interactions, good conversations. But this is shameful. This is like a shameful display to me, bro. You're sat there planning how you're going to most effectively sweep and strategizing the conversation, right? Why can't you just go in and talk? Why do you have to have this overall fucking strategy and make it so slimy and political, right? This is what Twitch poll has become, isn't it? This slimy political operation. I fucking hate it, dude.
No, I'm good. Okay.
Also, what's the deal with counterpoints in this? Is he supposed to be, what, the moderator? How's that going to work if he's helping one side to plan it? Or is it just a 2v1? No, sure. I appreciate it probably becomes a 2v1. But was Connor's role to be just like the moderator?
Is he realizing?
Oh.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, I've been in here a while. You sent me the link.
You're probably wondering, why didn't Kuihman say anything before? It's because it's not really in his nature to admit such subterfuge. You know, it's not really in his character to... he's quite a sneaky individual. And he will take advantage of any, you know, discreet opportunity to get the upper hand that he can.
Yeah, 601.
Yeah. Okay. I just like I heard all of that. That's all. It seemed like you guys were talking alone. Like it was a private conversation I was here for.
Well, it wasn't too private. It's basically what we think is your weakest stuff and what we think is your strong.
Oh, it's so awkward, dude. Come on, man. There's no way. That is incredibly embarrassing to have your like pre-game fucking planning fucking revealed publicly. I'm guessing that counterpoints were supposed to be muted there, and he wasn't. That's my guess.
Strongest stuff.
Cool.
So we're literally about to talk about all of it right now. So yeah.
Okay. I'd love to.
Okay. Do you have a camera that you can put on
I'm not on
StreamYard?
camera tonight. No.
Okay.
Okay, that's an L.
lazy mode?
That's an L. Why is Kuihman not coming on camera for these things? What the fuck, dude? Does anyone know? Why is Kuihman not coming on camera? This is great to see his little face up there. What is that about?
A Quiggler?
Do
you have a queefer?
You want me to send you a Quiggler? I can send you one.
No, I'm okay. Thanks.
Okay.
I'm waiting for Brianna.
Yes. Yes, of course it is. Correct. Yes, it is easy to focus on. Yes, that is true, obviously. But I don't know. That seems like, it's a bit of like a, what do you call it? Just once again, what did I just fucking say about this guy? Exactly. A certain debate tactic. Yes, exactly. It'd be great if you just turn your camera off, because, of course, if the camera's on you, every single unspoken thing is broadcast, and that can look bad on you, But I don't know. I just feel that's a bit like, okay, well, that's a great excuse for why you don't want to do it, but that's an argument to why you should do it, to make a fair playing field. Once again, trying to get an advantageous point unfairly. I've heard things about it, but we'll see. We will see.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, it's all right.
How's life?
Nice.
Yeah, amazing.
Sure.
Finished the video. It's doing okay.
Yeah. Well, I would.
Oh, by the way,
I would.
Well, that is in reference. God, he's such a little fucker, isn't he? Basically, I watched it earlier just to make sure I had all the info coming into this, because it's like 2 hours long. But Kuihman released like a hit piece about Brianna Wu literally in the hours before this happened. It's a good video. I'd recommend it. Go and watch it. Kuihman's latest video. Very interesting. And long story short, is it basically demonstrates that Brianna has been in like a number of different kind of controversies and stuff like that, and has done retarded shit on the internet. Like, who hasn't, right? But it's like the severity of some of it and the fact that Brianna has never really accounted for it in any way. It's just kind of like sashayed by and then on to the next thing, And there's this like big flip-flopping thing that happens where it's like, swapping sides based on what's convenient, but never really accounting for the fact that you were on the other side to begin with in any meaningful way. I'd recommend it. It's a great video. So yeah, it's, but yeah, Kuihman released that video in the hours leading up to this conversation. So yeah, another debate tactic.
Would presume that was, how do I phrase
this? This is 2 hours.
You either have
the video is 30 minutes. This is 2 hours.
Machiavellian streak, or you have autism, or both. So do you want to explain your rationale behind it? That way I don't have to.
My rationale is, if someone's gonna goad me and sit there being like, oh, whenever this person wants to put on their big boy pants, we can come talk. If they're gonna do that, then yeah, I'm gonna go make a video on all the terrible shit you've done before we go and talk. Yeah, because I'm not.
Was that me or Brianna?
That was Brianna. That was Brianna. From behind the block too, I'd like to add.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, Brianna's here, so I'm gonna add and fuck with the shit, and then I'm gonna go live on my end.
Ooh. Cruise live already.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Oh, okay.
And then that is not looking the way I want it to, so we'll just go with this one. All right, and then Brianna, can you hear us okay?
I sure can.
Okay, Mr. Kuihman is in with us, but he does not have camera that he can hook up for it, so we're just gonna
we're not going to get to see his face? That's so sad. I would think you'd want to show your fucking face, but
Oh!
I mean, well, when you show your actual face without 5 filters on it, we can talk. But
it's called
Jesus, can we save the band for the actual
what the
shit?
fuck,
So,
dude?
anyways, I'm going live on our end.
That was insane. Kuihman won.
And I guess I'll do
Already?
kind of setting the stage, so to speak, since I guess I'm hosting. So, good evening, everyone in posterity. The way that this came to be is I'll just hit it from my perspective. So I'm a fan of the commentary community and the drama community. I think that all things considered, while they often do focus on very silly things, they do have a penchant for being honest.
I don't even think Kuihman is part. You know, I feel a bit like this about myself as well, right? But I hate the way that you get kind of labelled as a certain thing. Do you know what I mean? Kuihman's just, I don't know. I don't really see him as part of any community. He just does his thing, you know? And hates everyone. He's an internet personality. Yes, exactly. No. He doesn't even orbit me. I don't see it like that either. You know, we rarely talk. Yo, Rags, how's it going? Show your real face isn't all that effective when you're wearing lots of makeup. Anyway, no comment, okay? No, I don't know. I just think, yeah, I mean, Kuihman hates pretty much everyone in commentary too, so I don't really think he's got a place there. He's just kind of doing his own thing, isn't he? He's a rogue agent.
And abrasive and annoying, which can be fun or funny when you don't like their targets. When you do like their targets, it can be frustrating and annoying and kind of abrasive. So I am a, relatively speaking, fan of Kuihman's work. I'm relatively speaking a fan of ChudLogic's work, but I also find that...
What have I got to do with this? Why do I always get fucking dragged into shit I'm not involved in? What the fuck is that about, dude?
They are abrasive. When it comes to Miss Brianna, you know, we're obviously friends. We work on content together, and it seemed like Mr. Kuihman had a healthy chunk of criticism for me and for Miss Brianna when it came to Keffels in particular. And I think that Kuihman's content is at its best when he is summarizing arguments, saying why they're incorrect, and then basically coming up with his own insights. I think his content is at its weakest when he's just calling everybody else an idiot or a spurg or a dumbass or a retard or any variation of those words or other words that he chooses to describe. So I basically said, well, Mr. Kuihman, if you take issue with what I've said or what, you know, Miss Brianna has said, then I invite you to talk it with me. I'm not personally scared of you. I'm not personally scared of the commentary community. So if you want to have a conversation, that's fine. And then Miss Brianna also jumped into the Twitter reply section and said that she is down for the conversation as well.
Yeah, from behind the block
today.
Yeah. So I'd like to add that from behind the block.
Well, let's get. We will have plenty of time to get into the content. I have watched the Kuihman Brianna Wu summary. I also shot it over to Brianna with some cliff notes. So we're here basically to hash it out and air it out.
Hey, Brianna, here's a video documenting all your fucking shitty moments. What do you reckon? Dude, that is
So does either one of you want to lead us off?
I'm good.
No, I'm easy as well. Yeah. What's the setup here? Do you want to go for me bringing stuff up, or do you guys want to bring stuff up?
Nice, relaxed
beginning. You said you've got notes, so I don't know if you want to start off there.
Connor?
Oh,
sure. I mean, if you want me to read the main takeaways that I had from it as a topic of discussion, then we can do that.
I mean, we just go down through the list and we can just point out all the factual errors, mistaken judgments, libelous defamatory statements, and
wait, what? We're talking about defamation already. See, this is the thing, isn't it? It's like Brianna hasn't really changed. But people want to act like Brianna has. Brianna is the same lolcow, you know, that she was during fucking Gamergate. Why are you bringing up defamation and fucking libel immediately? Like, it's just such a tell, isn't it? That's where your brain is thinking, you know, legal action. Weak
reasoning. Why don't we
just go for it?
Go on through it?
All right, so let's do the first one. So the first one that I took a note on was Brianna Wu claimed to have degrees, but only shows attending the university for a decade in her transcript with no final degree.
So I did not. So let me ask you a question, Kuihman. I just want all the listeners to know you won't show your face. So do you know who David Whitman is? Whitford is?
Is that some Nazi guy? Roughly.
No, it's not a Nazi guy. Do you know who this is?
Yeah, I think he had some association with Milo, didn't he?
No. Do you know who
okay.
David Whitford
no,
is?
I've got no idea who David Whitford
No
is. I
idea
can't the name
whatsoever?
or looking into you. Nope, not
Didn't
right now.
Look it up?
Nope.
Really? You have no idea who David Whitford is?
No, does this have any relevance to you having a...
What? Okay. So straight away, we're like off the fucking path of what we're talking about to a random person. And we're using it as this kind of weapon to attack. Like, it's like you're not directly addressing what is being said or what the nature of the question is. You're talking about something else to make it look like you've got more knowledge than the other person does. Okay, well, what's that got to do with the matter at hand? Let's find out.
Degree.
Yeah, it does, actually.
Okay, could you explain the relevance to having a degree?
Why don't you shut up? This is my show. I'm going to talk.
It's actually, it's my show too, actually. I'm on my stream as well, actually.
Oh my God, dude.
Oh my
I can
God.
actually talk pretty freely.
So we're just going to
Let's not measure. Let's get into the information.
We'll do it. So,
What? Wait, what the fuck, dude? The host has muted your mic. What? How can anyone watch this? Do you know what this is? This is relying on people not liking Kuihman, okay? Because the only way you're going to be able to get away with acting like this is if the audience doesn't like the person that you're talking to, okay? Because, you know, if you like the person this is being done to, you're going to think this is shocking and terrible behavior. Or if you're reasonable and fair, if you're fair, you would think that's not really on. You've only just started talking. You're talking about something seemingly irrelevant, and the person is challenging you on that. And, you know, now you're doing it. Well, the reason it didn't happen with Nicholas the Oreo is because, number one, he was being the sweeper supreme, okay? And number two, because you know, it was a platform where you couldn't really disparage Nicholas because it was kind of a home performance, if you like, for Nicholas, you know? Whereas here, Brianna feels like, well, you know, it's my show. No one likes this guy anyway, so I'm going to treat him like shit. And then people aren't going to like him and aren't going to care, you know? And that's true as well, yes. The convo wasn't about her misdeeds there. This one is. Yeah, that's also true.
So David Whitford is a person who is a really long-standing reporter. He worked at Inc. magazine for many years, and in the middle of Gamergate, he spent, my gosh, it must have been 2 weeks following me around. This is an old school reporter, went through every single detail of my life.
I've literally got this article in my video. Sorry, I just didn't know the name. Okay, but I've got literally this article in my video.
Literally poured through every.
I've got literally this article is in my video
for a feature in Inc. magazine.
Yeah, this is in my video.
If you are interested.
Fair point. I just thought it was because he's more popular and well liked. I mean, she wouldn't be disrespectful like this. Yeah, but the thing is, someone can be the worst shitter going. That doesn't make any difference to whether what they're saying is true or not, does it? Someone can be an absolute obnoxious prick and still be right about one thing. So the point I'm making is, what does it matter how well liked Kuihman is? It's fucking irrelevant, right? The point is what Kuihman pointed out correct or not? Because that's what's at play here. Not, this isn't a fucking, you know, this isn't supposed to be a referendum on how well liked someone is. It's supposed to be, I made a claim about you. Brianna Wu is claiming it's defamatory, or some parts of the video defamatory, and then is going off into a diatribe that doesn't seem relevant. Kuihman is trying to challenge that, which is totally fair and reasonable. And if it was someone that was liked, people would be like, oh yeah, no, that's a fair thing to say. And then gets muted and then more diatribe. Like, it's an insane way to engage with someone, you know?
In a factual summary of everything that happened in my life, yeah, you probably shouldn't go to Kiwi Farms.
I didn't actually use Kiwi Farms once. I didn't use Kiwi Farms once.
Stuff about that there. In this piece,
I
know they muted me. I'm just talking for you guys.
Why did I not get a degree? It was because I.
It's not about not getting it, it's about lying.
I left the University of Mississippi for multiple years. I lived in Jackson, Mississippi. This is when I did my game studio.
I'll just talk for you guys. Okay, that's fine.
I was struggling with drug addiction and alcohol addiction for the entire time.
That's right. We'll just talk, guys. We can chat. Thanks for the $50 vodka. Huge thank you.
All of this goes together. Like, I've talked about every bit of this completely honestly and openly before. I actually don't have anything to hide. So I would really just suggest...
Don't have anything to hide, but Kuihman needs to be muted. What the fuck is that about? Why is Kuihman muted immediately?
You go read that piece. It is the most accurate thing that's been written about that. And I'm sure in that piece, it talks about how I did not get my degree, something I've never claimed to have.
That's a lie. You have claimed to have a degree.
No, I haven't.
You have. There's numerous IGN posts on the username SpaceCatGal from way before you started appearing in public under that. Like,
see, this is the other thing that really annoys me about this too, right? Is like people will say, oh, it's a long time ago, right? Well, if it's a long time ago, you should have long ago accepted whatever mistakes you made and be able to say, well, honestly, this situation, yes, that is a thing. And this is, you know, you should just be able to be completely upfront and honest about it, recognizing a mistake or issue that you've made. But we're not getting that. We're not getting the cold, hard facts. We're getting some diatribe about what seems to be a justification for why this qualification was stated wrongly or something. Do you know what I mean? It should be as easy as, yeah, I did do that. That was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. Boom. There we go. So, yes, it's a long time ago, but still to this day, we're seeing these kind of excuses and arguments to, you know, apologize for it. Not apologize, but to, you know, what's the word? To, like, do apologia for it, right? If you see what I mean.
Is in the Gamergate public with that name. So it wasn't someone faking being you. There's plenty of IGN posts where you were claiming to have a degree that are archived on the web archive, not just on Kiwi Farms. There's also an episode of a podcast. There's also an episode of a podcast.
Wait, what? So he's muted again. Already. He's barely been able to fucking respond.
Cast. Oh, so she's
so
muted me. Okay.
Going one at a time, I would need to see that. You know, in my public role, for me, Brianna Wu, the person who came to be relevant, like in the public eye after Gamergate, I've been completely honest with this. Now, there was one article, to my knowledge, that came out, and I said I went to the University of Mississippi. To the reporter, they interpreted that to mean that I graduated. I did not. They misquoted me at the time. And something I think you'll find is not every publication has the same level of fact checking that, say, the New York Times does, or Inc. magazine has, or the Wall Street.
Listen. It's just so obvious to me. You cannot possibly argue that that is an acceptable way to engage in this, you know, supposed debate or conversation. That you just mute the other person after they've spoken for 20 seconds, following you speaking for like, what, a minute, 2 minutes, whatever it is. It's just wrong. It's just obviously wrong and fucked up and a totally, you know, I don't know. It's just it's fucked. It's fucked. And if you're looking at this thinking, yeah, based or something, you're clearly just compromised and you can't actually look at a situation with an unbiased way. You either like Brianna or dislike Kuihman. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who this is, which way around it is. If Kuihman was doing it the other way around, it would also be fucked up. If he had somehow had control over this, you know? So he was able to just blow V8 and then mute the other person. It should be a backwards and forwards. And then the moderator should be stepping in to manage a conversation, you know, if it gets like excessive or too far in one direction or another, you know?
Street Journal has.
Crazy.
So if you go through that, you'll see a very consistent statement.
Well, if we
sorry, 1 second. Sorry, 1 second, Connor. You just lied to me again, because I actually in August of 2014, you were actually claiming on our podcast that you went back to university and finished your degree and became an investigative journalist. You actually did say that after.
What did I say? He is the #1 Brianna Wu A-log. That's crazy that he just knows that. The fuck, dude?
Gamergate started.
I did.
You did claim that.
that
Yeah,
case.
you
I did.
misspoke. Okay.
Then
Okay.
for the sake of, let's say that Brianna has this source that says, nope, I didn't say it, I phrased it this way. Kuihman says, nope, you did phrase it this way. What is your educational background to be stated clearly now?
Sure. I went to a ton of college and I didn't succeed at getting a degree for many reasons. Part of it was the drug addiction. Part of it.
So Brianna Wu didn't get a degree. There are posts of her saying that she did have a degree, right? And so what Kuihman said is correct. So she did lie about having a degree. Right? I mean, am I crazy here? Like, that seems like such an obvious thing to me. You stated you had a degree when you didn't. What is that? Why would you say that if you didn't? Yeah, sure, you can come up with all the reasoning as to why you weren't successful.
It was other stuff that I was.
Let me listen to that again.
This source that says, nope, I didn't say it, I phrased it this way. Kuihman says, nope, you did phrase it this way. What is your educational background to be stated clearly now?
Sure. I went to a ton of college and I didn't succeed at getting a degree for many reasons. Part of it was the drug addiction. Part of it was other stuff that I was dealing with. My family disowned me in the last 6 months of college and I found myself homeless right after that. So
out of personal curiosity, so
yeah.
for instance, I did the interdisciplinary degree program, which was actually a combination of 3 minors in order to get like a major, and it was like 120 credits or so. Do you remember how many credits you got during your attendance?
I was missing, I think, a mathematics class and one other thing. So
pretty close to an associate's or pretty close to a bachelor's?
Pretty close to a bachelor's.
Okay. All right, Kuihman, do you have any other points that you want to make before we move to the next one?
No, I was never claiming that Wu still lied about this. I always said she stopped lying about it in 2015 after Milo showed the transcripts. Yeah.
Okay, well, then next point was claims to be a cybersecurity expert despite not having the credentials for.
So yeah. Like, this is, I'm pretty sure this, from watching the video, this is fundamental to Kuihman's point here, is like, it's pointing out that there are times in the past where, you've lied, you've been dishonest, but you've never really just kind of put your hands up and stated that or said that, right? You've always wormed around it and wriggled around it. And then when someone tries to kind of pin you on that sort of thing, you kind of call out the fact they're bad in some way, rather than just engage with the fact that, hey, you're getting correctly called out for doing something. And you should just throw your hands up and say, yeah, that is the case. I did do that. That was wrong. Whatever, So, yeah, okay.
For that title.
She's got no experience as a cybersecurity expert from what I can tell, but yeah, go for it.
Sure. As far as a policy level of expertise, I'm not claiming
a policy level. Dude, that's fucking hell. That's
you
brilliant.
need to let me talk. So this was my congressional campaign.
Mute again. Mute again.
I ran for in my congressional campaign was taking cybersecurity
Dude,
very seriously.
I can't.
Yes, you see, Jessica Pizzle knows. How's it going, Jessica? I don't know why she can't just say, yeah, I didn't finish college. No one cares why you didn't finish. It sounds like making excuses. Yes, exactly. Yes, that's exactly it. There's got to be some reason or excuse for sympathy points. It can't just be, I didn't finish college. And, I felt, I don't know, bad about it. So I was dishonest about it at first. But when I was called out for it, I recognized I was wrong and moved on, right? But no, it has to be some reason as to why not and some sympathy fucking party.
I talked to more people that I can begin to think about on cybersecurity issues.
Instantly.
My dishonest, but have you considered Gamergate?
Very true. Thank you for the $5.
Muted again, by the way. Muted again.
And, you've got to understand, everyone in Congress is very, very old, and the people that serve on the committees to do cybersecurity, they just don't take it seriously. A really good example, Connor, can you help me remember what was the bill a few years ago? Was it the SOPA Act?
Calling
can
for
you
help.
Remember that?
I can Google it.
Stop Online
they
Piracy
tried to
Act.
get
Even I
through,
remember this.
and,
Come on, Woo.
Marcia
Let's
Blackburn,
burn
who
through this
actually went
retarded
to
bullshit,
school
yeah,
with
you
my
stupid
mother.
bitch.
She was one of the
Fuck
people sitting
me.
on the
Yo.
cybersecurity committee and actually tried to blame this bill, basically saying we needed to curtail First Amendment
Let's pump those
rights
donuts,
so
guys.
people
Pump those
would
fucking
stop
donuts.
stealing
Let's go,
software.
guys. While I'm muted,
That's
pump
the
those
level
donuts.
of person that is basically making this policy. So, my expertise that I brought into this is I'd been a tech journalist for a long time. I'd worked as a software engineer, and I'd followed it very, very carefully as someone who was very interested in that public policy. So, is expert a little
wonderful.
bit of political juice? Sure, but
people.
Is expert a bit of political juice? Sure. So, yeah. I mean, that is an admission without admitting it. It's like this kind of like soft admission, isn't it? Like, yeah, I was just overstating. I was overstating the case. I was overstating it a bit, You're zhuzhing up the CV a bit. But no, then what Kuihman's saying materially is correct. You have, dishonestly presented yourself as a cybersecurity expert without having the qualification to do so. As you phrase it, a bit of political juice. Do you know why Kuihman even agreed to this? Oh, well, Kuihman was chomping at the bit to have a conversation because he's obviously been very critical of Brianna for a little while now. I didn't think he expected it to be quite as egregious as all these fucking mutings and stuff like that, But to be honest with you, the mutings are an out. It makes them look bad, and it's a 2v1 and they're having to mute Kuihman. I mean, it looks terrible.
I think if you listen to me talk over a decade that I've been talking on public policy and tech, specifically my many, many, many appearances on Twit with Leah Laporte, I think most people would say I'd be a really big step up as far as setting the public policy on that. So you can make the appraisal the expert is a little too much. I would probably say that.
Thank you, Vodka.
It's a congressional campaign.
So you're not a cybersecurity expert at all then?
I think I would form extremely good cybersecurity policy for the country.
So you're not a cybersecurity expert at all then? I'd also like to point out that last week you were saying how amazing Stardust's video on Frogan was, which included a whole section talking about how Frogan wasn't an expert because she only had a master's and 2 years experience in the field.
Sure.
By that metric, Brianna, you were an absolute horrific liar in your congressional ad when you're trying to take public office. Probably the worst time to lie that I can possibly imagine.
Okay, you can make that assessment.
Yep, I will make that assessment. You are a sick person, truly sick.
Kuihman, so I'm gonna.
Do you know what I was thinking about actually with this? I was worried we might have another Zonya moment, but from what I understand, there wasn't a Zonya moment. Muted again, by the way. Muted once again. I don't know what it is when Kuihman speaks to a trans person. He has a funny 5 minutes sometimes. Okay, why is he muted again, dude? That's crazy.
Say this, if we're going to go through this, like, you're getting I guess what we're kind of doing now for the sake of flow.
Chud so mad, so sad, no woo bucks, Chud bad. Well, from what I understand on the grapevine, okay, there was apparently a conversation. This is like, I heard this on the grapevine, okay, so take it with a pinch of salt. There was a conversation about maybe approaching me for some sort of progressive victory thing, but I think they recognized. I don't know if this is before or after the Texas stream. The stream after DebateCon, but I think it was decided that I wasn't really right for the role or whatever it is, But yeah,
I'm not Brianna, right? So this is her history. She's telling the story as it is. If you have like contradictory evidence, that's fine, and we can go back and forth on it. I think what's going to drag this down though is, for instance, if Brianna's making a response, you're smugly laughing, so then you get muted every single time. Then we listen to Brianna talk for a minute, then you say that's not true, and then we just repeat that like 30 times. That's probably not going to be decent content. So if possible,
I'd agree. If I stopped getting muted, it'd be way better content.
Like chill on the personal shit, but
True.
more present like contradictory information or the way that you see it or something like that. That's fine by me, or I think that would be better content.
No, I think you've seen enough Destiny content to know that it's important to interrupt someone when they start building a whole point based on lies in the first sentence. No, I think I will keep interrupting if Brianna's going to lie.
I'm not lying, dude.
You
It's-
did
you've
lie
drawn
you
the
did lie
most-
to me.
you've
You did
drawn
lie
the
to me.
most
Okay, I've been muted again.
dramatic
Again, I've been muted again.
No way. I'd heard about the muting. I didn't think it was this egregious. That's crazy. Straight away getting muted. And who's doing the muting? Who is muting that? What? Who is muting? Is it? Who is muting? Why have they got control over the mute, dude? It is true. It is correct and true that you know, if someone is like saying a bunch of bullshit straight away, you've got to get in there and say, because otherwise they're going to fucking, by the time you've got to 0.5 or 6, they've got to 0.5 or 6, you're still at 0.1 thinking, well, that's not true. It's like a kind of gish gallop thing, isn't it?
And
It
she
is
can't
very
hear it.
obnoxious.
She can't
You're not
take it.
interested in the
She
truth.
can't take it.
You're coming into this conversation with a point of view, and you're just
See,
it's clearly
look at
drama
this. It's
content.
just that
I'm
it's
happy
the
to answer these questions. We can go through it one at a time, you know. But just
look.
don't
See, look how
pretend
the
like
energy
you're
changes.
not
I was
interested
defaming
in
her a
truth.
minute ago. I was defaming you a minute ago. Where like all of a sudden now you're falling back. I thought you were going to disprove everything I said. I thought this was going to be.
So we can save this until the end, dude. But I know you've probably never read a book on communication law and how this works.
But
But
I think
the
you should have to
truth
clearly
is,
explain to me what the lie is. Where I was
You've
lying.
never read a
Christ,
book.
Connor,
You've never read a book. Oh my god. On communication law.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Oh. Hey, Simpleton, thank you for the $2. Hope you're well. Thank you. I can't. You know, the thing is like, Kuihman is obviously being a little bit, you know, boisterous at times, but it's nothing that crazy. It's nothing that deserves muting, you know? Like, every point, well, he's kind of been muted, so you can't tell, but it's not like he's, like, continuously talking over, you know? It's just that happens in a conversation. Someone says something you disagree with, you want to cut in and interject, and that's how it works, you know? Like, why is muted? Well, we know why. It's because it's to control what Kuihman says. He doesn't say anything too crazy or something, I don't know. But, like, you would control this via moderation. You know, you would step in and say, hang on a minute, let this person say this, let that person say that, and kind of manage it that way.
I can't do this if I can't get a sentence out. I'm being calm. He's being.
I can't get a sentence out. Is that for real? What? Brianna Wu has been able to speak uninterrupted for sentences upon sentences, dude. What the? Please, let me get a sentence out. Anyway, as I was explaining, insert long diatribe about irrelevant details here.
Being a jackass. This is crazy. So I know you've probably never read a book on communication law, but when you say things about people, there's some things that protect you from defamatory lawsuits. One of the major tools is
Sue me.
reportage. This is very, very helpful.
Sue me.
So if I can point to something and say, I'm not saying this, I'm not claiming this, the New York Times is saying this, that is a higher level of credibility than if you were to point to, I don't know, Kiwi Farms.
I
or
never
source
point
something
Kiwi
from
Farms.
Kiwi Farms there.
But that's insane. This is exactly the same logic that Keffels uses when it comes to Kiwi Farms. It's exactly the same mentality. Oh, it's on Kiwi Farms, so therefore it's not true. Now, that being said as well, you can circumvent the Kiwi Farms issue if someone's got that by just looking at the archive links. And from what Kuihman is saying, apparently he didn't use Kiwi Farms in his research anyway. But, you know, what does it matter if it's on Kiwi Farms or not, you know? Doesn't matter. What matters is the information being stated true and correct? If you've got a screenshot there of someone saying, unless you're disputing the fact the screenshot is real and exists, a screenshot of someone saying, hey, you know, here's the fucking, you saying that you've got a degree when you haven't, that's it, you banged your rides. Or use Kiwi Farms once, okay. I mean, it doesn't matter, it's an irrelevant distraction.
So I think when you're publishing things and putting it out there and you're ignoring contradictory evidence, to be really clear, I don't have any intention of suing anyone today. But one of the reasons I won my lawsuit against Alex Jones is I was aware of these standards, and I tailored my public comments to
wonderful.
meet those
But how
standards
do I
of
make
defamation,
money
which is
off
why
depressed
Alex
people?
Jones was
Here's a
not
drinking
successful.
game,
So
chat.
that's what
Take
I've
a
said.
shot
Okay,
of
that's
ethanol
wonderful.
every time
But how do I
Kuihman
make
is muted,
money
and
off
take
depressed
another
people?
shot of
The
bleach every
cybersecurity
time the
expert
beautiful
doesn't
woman
truly
Brianna
realize he
says
can
she'll
still
talk
talk
to
to
his
his
audience, and him being
will
muted
be
makes
less
her
painful
argument
than
watching
watching
this.
Thank you very much for the 333, Ollie. Let me give that. Take a shot every time of ethanol every time Kuihman is muted. Another shot of bleach every time the beautiful, beautiful woman Brianna says sure. Like Flamengo saying, mm-hmm. The dying will be less painful than watching this. Thank you, Ollie, for the 333. And Bacon Vor, thank you very much for the $5. The cybersecurity expert doesn't realize he can still talk to his audience, and him being muted makes the argument look worse. Thank you very much for the $5. Wait, hang on a sec. Wait. I just read your comment. I'm not misgenderinoing here, okay? Do you know what actually I was watching earlier that I thought was quite funny? Because I obviously watched Kuihman's video, recent video, and then it followed on to another one where he was covering the Josh Moon thing, the Josh Moon article, and I watched a bit of it. And he refused to read the article as it was written, and he insisted on doing the, what is it? He said she. He didn't use the biological-based pronouns as was in the original text. Well, that's quite interesting. I don't even know if that's against the rules. I don't think it is if I'm just reading out the fucking words. But I just read the article because I thought, well, if he's written it down, I'm going to read it how it's written, you know? Is that bad? I don't know. I think that's okay. The video is monetized and stuff.
I didn't source Kiwi Farms for any of this stuff. So that's okay. It's all on the web archive. It's all in various articles written online. I actually did cite that David Whitmer article you mentioned. I didn't remember his name, but I do actually have that article in there. I have actually read that article, so I'm perfectly aware of that.
Piece.
So
it contradicts other evidence that you're putting out there.
Well, oh yeah, what does it contradict?
If you're claiming that I claim to go to Ole Miss for a decade, that's not true.
You claimed it before that article came out. You claimed it before that article came out.
No, I didn't.
Yes,
I didn't
yeah.
go
The
to
time
Ole
you've
Miss
got
for a
you've muddled.
decade. I moved
No,
to
you've got the timeline muddled here. You
I
were
moved
lying
to-
about
Mute
having
again.
okay.
I went to Millsaps, I think, for a year,
Dude.
and then I worked on my startup, and then I moved to DC. So there it is.
Okay, you were claiming to have a degree before this article came out. So this
Unmuted.
article
That's
doesn't
not true.
contradict
That's
anything.
not
That
true.
is true, because the degree.
Connor, can we keep going?
It was revealed.
This is
No,
really taking-
you're lying to me, Brianna, straight up, because
I'm
you
not lying.
were outed
I
as not having a
can't
degree in
remember.
2015. This was released in 2016.
Okay,
Sorry,
if
April
you
2015.
want to say that me as an internet anonymous person misspoke at some point, that's fine. In my
It's not just then. We established that. It was when you were public in Gamergate.
Life,
Mute again. Fucking did. This is probably the most insane muting thing I've seen ever in any conversation I've ever watched online. I have never seen someone muted like this before. It's crazy. Mental.
I've
When you were
been
public,
extremely honest and
that's
direct
not-
with people about this. And I'm telling you right now, I did not successfully get my college degree.
I muted
I
again.
would hope that most people out there would understand that I had drug addiction at the time. And my
Look at this
family
desperate
disowned
plea
me
for
on the very
trauma.
last bit of it, which would left me homeless, which was an incredibly stressful situation. You know, it's something I used to feel really guilty about.
Don't care.
And honestly,
Don't
it's not
care.
affected my life that much.
I think the play
Okay,
for
that's
trauma
wonderful.
is very
But how do
pathetic
I
and
make
manipulative
money
and
off
I'm
narcissistic.
just
of
telling
you?
you the truth of what happened. You don't
No,
have
it's
to
You're too accommodating to an undeserving lot. Thank you for the $2, Simpleton. Listen, in fact, yeah, dude, I honestly find it so insufferable from both sides. I said this before, but just, I am of the opinion, do what you want to do, okay? Genuinely in your heart and your head, think about what you want to do and do that, okay? If you want to use sex-based pronouns, use sex-based pronouns, okay? I'm not a kind of person that's looking to use sex-based pronouns because I don't want to, okay? I don't want to use sex-based pronouns, so I don't use sex-based pronouns. That doesn't mean that I'm censoring. It doesn't mean that, just that's the way I look at it, okay? I generally look at someone and I'll use the fucking pronoun that they look like to me in my head, And if I know, I'll probably try and use the right, the right one that they want. I don't think it's that big a deal for me. But some people act like that's a crazy thing, a crazy concept. Mail. Exactly. Who gives a fuck about I don't care. I'm one or another. It doesn't mean that much to me. But some people think it's some essence of saying the correct pronoun, sex-based pronoun that, that means that you're then doing the right thing. I don't agree with that. Just do whatever you want to do. It's not that big a deal. Okay, relax.
So it's a desperate manipulation tactic because you've repeatedly lied to me in this conversation. When I've brought up specific instances, I brought up stop cutting me off. She cut me off.
Can we keep the show going, man?
Well, okay, but I want to point out this dynamic because if we keep doing this, then it's going to be just as toxic as it is right now for the next like hour.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I would borderline prefer Kuihman to kind of bring up his criticisms rather than us flowing through it because now.
Okay, so we have. Okay, it's fine. We can move on. We can move past it.
Hold on.
Hold on.
I just want to. Okay, so I want to point out the formulaic dynamic. Okay. So, the formulaic dynamic is I wrote down all of the criticisms
I'm gonna
that were in the video.
I'm gonna snap.
Kuihman
I'm losing it.
got a 20-minute head start by doing the video, right? So now we're going through it and we're responding to it, and then basically what's happening is so far we have two. If I was to summarize,
What is this? One thing I learned while getting my degree. I mean, yeah. I also want to say that based on my undergrad degree, yeah, I mean, it's fucking black and white, dude. What is the denial of this? How is that? That's not a misspeak. You are, overstating your qualifications to look better. My degree isn't in CS, and this is up till 2014. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems pretty obvious. And the thing is, I wouldn't care about this because it was so long ago. But it's very troubling that, there's not just an admission of, yeah, do you know what? I did do that. It's a bit cringe to look back on now, but I did do that. I overstated it. I shouldn't have done that. I did get called out. And, why can't it just be that simple? Why can't it be easy? It should be such a simple thing if you recognize that what you did was wrong,
The points that we made so far is that
and it's multiple times, yeah.
Brianna claimed to have a degree. Brianna is saying that she doesn't have a degree, but she does have a decent amount of credits in college. I don't think that's contested, at least. Then cybersecurity expert, Brianna is saying that she used that as an accolade while going through Congress because people in Congress are not particularly tech savvy. And she's been talking about tech and politics for the past decade. That's how I would summarize the Brianna point. And then Kuihman is saying, well, that's not enough. And on top of that, in a recent...
Yeah, it's like you either have a degree or you don't, right? I do not have a degree. I've never said I've got a degree, or anything of the nature of that sort, okay? Like, what? Why do people... I just don't understand it.
Thing for somebody that you
Why lie
allied
about
yourself
something
with.
like that?
You kind of laughed at the fact that somebody with a master's degree isn't a expert. So that's kind of like the summary of the two perspectives so far, but we're not getting to the guts of it, I guess.
If we could get through like one back and forth without a factual inaccuracy from the other side, that would help. Okay, I've been muted again. Crazy, I haven't spoken in 10 minutes.
Connor, with the claims I was making on Stardust, most of what I liked about that video was the anti-Semitism. I don't think I publicly commented on the health expert.
That's crazy.
She should comment on the video. She should approve the video.
I could understand why Frogan would say that. I
the
thought
other
Stardust had a good point with that, but it wasn't something I publicly commented on. Just to be clear.
Okay, yeah, you didn't comment on any specific part. You just said it was an amazing video and retweeted it. Yeah,
it was an amazing video.
That was making that attack, and you didn't.
The thing I found strongest was the anti-Semitism and really documenting that. To be clear.
Yeah, so this is okay. Go for it, Connor. Yeah, no, it's okay. No, it's counterfire. It's counterfire. You guys talk.
Well, I'm just gonna keep pointing out the dynamic over and over again. So how about you go? So maybe we can get into some meat.
Yeah, sure. Would you describe Total Biscuit as a transphobic, sexist leader of harassment, Brianna?
To be really honest, I had so much trauma during Gamergate. I've never seen total.
Bro. Hey, look who it is. Chief Sweeper. I will point out I did not press the mute button during the debate. So Brianna was muting. Does that not make it worse in a way? That Brianna was like muting the opposition. Isn't that crazy? I'm not going to ban counterpoints. Come on.
Total Biscuit's work. I don't think I could make an assessment on that today. For a lot of Gamergate, and Connor can back me up on this, I've talked a lot about how I didn't handle many things very well. You know, I'd handled them differently today.
Okay,
but
that's
I'm not
wonderful. But how do
familiar
I
enough
make
with his
money
work
off
to
depressed people?
make that assessment. I think
Thank you for the $2. Why can't it just be a yes or no answer? Yes, I do stand by that. And here's why I stand by that. Or, no. Oh, by the way, what did I tell you guys, eh? What did I tell you? I told you. I knew counterpoints would be eventually. Or alternatively, why not, you know, say, no, I don't agree with that anymore. I was mistaken. Here's how I made that mistake. Why does it have to be this fucking political answer? It can't just be a straightforward fucking answer, yes or no.
in the time he was a complete ass to me online, and certainly drove a lot of harassment my way. So
yes, this is exactly like a yes, it is just like a fucking politician. You ask a politician a simple question, and they fucking go into this massive diatribe, going around the houses to explain what should be a simple yes or no answer.
But how do I make money off depressed people?
Connor, you said Kuihman's career will be soon over. I will remember your words.
Oh, is that true? Uh-oh.
I think I would say that.
I believe there was one tweet where he called you a worthless hypocrite, but you actually said last year, you said, when Total Biscuit died, I bit my tongue. I didn't want to say anything, but that's allowed people to whitewash a serious, horrific history of extreme harassment. That doesn't sound like someone who's just never seen the work. You're saying he has a legacy of extreme...
Chud is media trained. Unfortunately for him, the media is African-American rap videos. True.
Extreme
harassment. That's completely, that works exactly with what I just said. He drove a ton of harassment to my door.
With one tweet.
That's 100% true. I just said that.
With one tweet. Saying you're a hypocrite.
No, he tweeted me a ton.
But how do I make money
I remember
off
one
depressed
tweet
people?
he said,
I'm
I'm absolutely done.
From his mistress's broken cock and came running to lap it up like a dog.
Bro.
Some brave hero has to stop him before he pulls a total Benoit.
Bro, can you not? That's insane. Stylo, come on now. Thank you for the 333. I appreciate it, but come on now. Have some decorum.
Taking anything Brianna Wu says seriously, like it was.
That's the same tweet I'm talking. That's the exact same tweet I'm talking about. That's the. I'm absolutely done. That's the no. That's the exact same tweet I'm talking about. That's the one where Total Biscuit said, "I'm sick of pretending Brianna Wu is anything but a worthless fucking hypocrite." That's the exact.
Well, he did drive a ton of harassment to my door.
Okay, so that was a lie that you repeated up until last year. That was not true. He was well, yeah, because he wasn't. He was not a leader of harassment. He made one tweet calling you a hypocrite. That's a total mischaracterization.
He did a lot more than that. His audience.
Well, you haven't shown that.
What else did he do? This sounds very much.
That's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Top tier guzzling, Connor.
Thank you for the $5. That sounds very much like, I can point to this person doing one small thing and use that to generate
sitting
victim
in silence and letting
mentality.
Kuihman get muted over and over again. Shame on you, Connor.
Thank you for the Prime sub. Appreciate it.
I've already told you I didn't handle everything during Gamergate.
You've been asked for but you've been asked for evidence on this last year when you made that tweet. You were asked for evidence again, and you were refusing to give it. And you were saying that if you just don't get it, and you're denying the trauma. That's what you were saying.
No, I'm saying that his audience drove a lot of bullshit to my door. He also went after Zoe Quinn a ton, and I think
that's not true either. That's a lie.
From you know what? I'm talking my impression of things 10 years ago. I honestly don't remember the Total Biscuit stuff.
But do you understand there's a problem with your impression of things 10 years ago if you're repeating that now? I've let you talk for the whole time.
By the way, it was a very straightforward question that Kuihman asked.
Okay,
it was
that's
just
wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Connor, do you have to make sure Wu is erect before you start sucking the cum out? Or do you like to feel it swelling in your mouth?
That is grotesque, Styler. You fucking lost it with that one. Thank you for the 333, but come on. Jesus Christ.
I'm you
Honestly,
stupid
and
cunt.
with integrity, if you
Please censor that.
4 seconds, I can't answer your questions. So
You're not answering the You're not answering the questions. You're not doing that.
I'm getting it from every angle.
Is there any worth to this, man?
Okay. So what I would say is the worth it from my perspective.
Is the content.
Is that I think that the commentary community can be abrasive, but they also can present us with
John Sanchez
facts.
became
But
a member. John Sanchez celebrates 5 months of membership. I don't blame Kuihman for going bonobo mode. This person yaps professionally.
Thank you very much for the membership. That is the most annoying thing that you know is like when someone fucks something up real bad, like King of Nothing or this fucking Shadows guy, right? They get like heavily criticized for fucking something up and not making like factual statements based on good information or evidence. You know, there is a level of people. I mean, obviously, it's not perfect. Like fucking. What's his face? Mama Max was able to operate with impunity for years, despite being a fucking retard. But yeah, I think, you know, it's very wrong to try and claim something isn't factually accurate. You know, especially when there isn't really any information or evidence to suggest that that's the case. Like, you know, point out what the issue is then. Like, the fact of the matter is, Brianna Wu was dishonest about having a fucking qualification, has been called out for it correctly, and still tries to fucking come up with all these excuses for it. And the framing of this here, it's like, well, yeah, of course. Why would it not be factually accurate, you know?
I think that just because there are facts doesn't mean that these facts are mutually exclusive.
Sure.
So for instance, if I don't know Total Biscuit, right? I wasn't huge in the Gamergate days. But as an example, if we go back to Total Biscuit's history and we check out his tweet history and we see this, that, the other, where he's talking shit about the Gamergate girls and Anita Sarkeesian sucks.
Literally, he was exceedingly progressive for the time. He was exceedingly progressive, and he did interviews with the BBC where he was explicitly denouncing the harassment of Zoe Quinn and stating that nobody should be going after Zoe Quinn. They should be going after the journalists who made the reviews, if anyone. He said specifically, stay away.
Let me remind you of the dynamic. Let me remind you, Brian can mute you whenever he feels like it because he's my dad.
Okay, Simpleton. Chill out with the, come on now. Thank you for the $5.
What are you doing? Why are you going after Zoe Quinn? It's not her that's made an ethical violation. He was very clear, very specific with everything he said. And yet Brianna has continued until last year to mischaracterize us. It's not just that you said.
You don't have enough shame in your body to hide away after this shameful display.
Thank you for the 50 sec. I appreciate it.
It during Gamergate, and you've got this odd perception, and you've moved on from then. No, you're repeating this, and you are constantly trying to reiterate. You did it the year before as well, that his legacy was people harassing women in his name. You've constantly tried to smear this guy, both alive and dead.
Can I make my point now? And I don't want.
Yeah, now I've managed to speak for like 3 seconds at a time. Yeah, you can go, Brianna. I'm allowed.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off
It's so
depressed people?
childish. So, you know, something that happened during Gamergate.
Opportunity to speak. Bloviating for minutes, letting him speak 3 words and just muting him. Are these qualities of a leader?
Well, I think that it is obviously uncomfortable to be challenged on your, you know, things. And the thing is, everyone fucks up and does stupid stuff online. But, like, some of this stuff is pretty real. Like, fucking the Total Biscuit thing is insane. And to not be able to just go, do you know what? You know, I was wrong about that and I shouldn't have said that. Right? Like, it's that simple. But no, there's got to be some reasoning, some argument as to why it was actually somehow understandable that happened, you know? But yeah. Also, the other thing as well is this is like, I mean, this is like a fraction of what, well, I don't know about America, but in the UK, politicians get a pretty rough ride in the press and get questioned on stuff pretty strongly, you know? Yeah.
As I was traumatized, I legitimately cannot remember much of Total Biscuit. You could probably find
and stop talking about
articles where I've talked about my blurry memory from Gamergate. So if I'm misremembering this and I was unfair to him at the time, it would not surprise me at all. I would be the first person to admit it. My honest recollection, which I'm
the words. the lengthy statement and words being said here, rather than just going, "You're right. I was wrong about that, and I shouldn't have said it. It was excessive and wrong, and I shouldn't have done it." That's it. That's all you need to say. But there's this like winding road, winding round and round. It just gets to the point of, yeah. And saying it's even the admittance of it is so wordy, bro. It's so annoying.
Telling you truthfully right
God,
now
bro.
is that his audience was harassing me, but I was getting so many death threats in those days. Like I doubt I could tell one end from the other. So it's entirely.
You don't even have to. But you could say like, I was getting a lot of shit, so I overreacted and said something I shouldn't have done, and it was too much, and I feel bad about it. I shouldn't have done that. But whatever. Like, it's fine to say you were in a bad state of mind at the time. That's why you did it. But you still did the thing, even if there's reasoning as to why you did it. God, it's just it's so annoying, man. But you know, you've misrepresented him. It's fucking wrong.
Really possible.
Okay,
to be
that's
honest
wonderful.
with you.
But how do I
You
make
notice how every
money
time you own
off
up to
depressed
something,
people?
it's but
Counterpoints
okay,
is
I didn't get my
pathetic
degree,
rant.
but I
Thank
had a lot of
you.
trauma when I was
Game
homeless.
disgusting
Okay,
free.
that wasn't true about Total Biscuit, but I've got a lot
Thank
of
you for the
trauma. Do you
tip.
notice how there's
3037,
never an
generous.
honest acceptance of accountability or the fact you fucked up and did something wrong? It's
Yes.
always there's some other terrible thing going on in my life
Yes.
that's causing me to act this way, so no one can be mad at me about it. Like you've
I didn't
actually
say
you,
no one can be
Yes,
mad.
yes, exactly that. It's never just open, honest, this is a situation, boom, there we go. It has to be some long, windy tale.
Out at me.
okay,
I'm
well then
telling you what.
do you acknowledge the fact that you have done you did insane damage to Total Biscuit's reputation off of no evidence. You had no evidence for the claims you were making that he was a sexist,
Well, hold on.
transphobic leader of
Can
harassment.
I ask you a question there, Kuihman? Because that, we're talking about exaggerations of harm. Are you exaggerating harm there? Did Total Biscuit suffer any consequences as a result of journalists saying that he was transphobic or aggressive or harassing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember.
I'm asking.
I'm pretty sure I remember a bunch of shit going down the day. Like there was, I mean, look, if you were involved in Gamergate, I would never deny this. Either side you're on.
Laz
There were people.
777 became a member. Laz 777 celebrates 3
Why is
months
it-
of membership. Somehow Wu remembers everything convenient from Gamergate but forgets everything negative she did.
Remembers all the harassment, but nothing of their own misgivings. Thank you very much for the membership. Appreciate it.
If you were involved in Gamergate, I would never deny this. Either side you're on,
Okay,
there
that's
were people were taking
But how do I
reputational
make
damage,
money
losing
off
opportunities,
depressed people?
bomb threats being called at speaking events. This was happening on both sides. So I would never deny anything like that. The
Oh,
point is that
little-
my issue is more. My issue is
little
more
bit of-
is that Total Biscuit had made one tweet about Brianna, and apparently he's a leader of harassment. Yet Brianna isn't a leader of harassment, even though she made essentially a campaign past this guy's death to continue spreading mistruths about him.
Now hold on. Let's be fair here. It is 100% accurate that I did not comment on his death when he died.
That's not. I don't believe that is true.
Hold on.
When was the
dude,
date of that tweet?
Dude. I don't want
Muted.
to keep meeting you. Let me make my points, please. Can we
Not if you're
please
gonna
act
lie.
like
Not
adults
if you're
here?
gonna lie. Not if you're gonna
Even
lie.
if you
Who? Okay. I've never seen anything like this before. He's got me muted every time. It's just crazy. I've honestly never seen anything this crazy before. This endless muting. It's mental.
don't agree with my point of view,
It's not about not
I'm gonna
agreeing. It's
tell
about
you what I
factual
think, okay?
inaccuracies. Whatever.
So what I was going to say is with Total Biscuit, this is my genuine reaction. When he died, his wife, what was her name? He had a
Jenna Bane.
wife that was grieving, and I was
Welcome
like,
to Chud
you know,
Nation.
I'm married. I would
What's the
never,
point
I
of a
can
debate
imagine
if you
like your
can't go
spouse
back and
dying. I
forth
would
and
not want
actually
to
debate?
contribute to
Yeah.
that. So I very, very deliberately for that entire time after he passed, just made the decision to say nothing. And I did
No, there is no moderator. The deck is stacked, right? So counterpoint is here, seemingly as moral support for Brianna, and to occasionally sweep. Apparently, he's not doing the muting. So yeah, I don't know. It's just it's like a TV1 situation as far as I can tell.
did not bring him up for years and years and years and years. In fact, I would bet a lot of money that if you're talking about, like, you put out a tweet the other day, was that a tweet I put out, or was I like responding to a question that someone asked me?
I know I didn't say the other day. I said it was about a year ago, but yeah,
Okay,
sure.
but for that, I was probably responding to something. Like, I'm not trying to. And I bet a lot of money there. Maybe I'm mistaken.
You
But
were
I very
quote tweeting
deliberately.
Keffels. You were quote tweeting Keffels, who I believe was talking about someone who had recently died, because you were talking on the topic of talking about someone's crime when they died. I think you were just adding your own story. I don't think she was talking about Total
Okay.
Biscuit. I think
Sure.
you brought up Total Biscuit and decided to start
Okay, that's
saying
fair.
this again.
But it had been. I mean, that was like what a.
Are you saying he's not constantly interrupting? Your hatred for what? What? Are you saying he's not constantly interrupting? Your hatred for Wu's blinding your common sense? I don't think it is. I think I'm being fair, as always. I don't think my hatred for Wu is playing a part in this at all. I'm seeing... Tell me a conversation you've seen where one side keeps getting muted by the other this often. Where? Where do you ever see this? He's not even constantly interrupting. You know, Brianna has said a point, and sometimes if someone makes a point and you know it's not correct or you want to challenge that, you need to do it straight away, because otherwise the conversation goes down the road and then you've lost the opportunity to. So Kuihman is trying to interject to challenge them on a point they're making there and then it's mute.
8 years after he died?
Yeah, does it make it less wrong?
Well, I'm trying to make you understand my thought process there. You
Okay,
can disagree with this assessment, but this
you
is what...
still haven't
Hold
really
on,
acknowledged the
Kuihman,
fact there was no
Kuihman,
basis for it.
Kuihman.
Why don't you take notes, Kuihman?
I mean, I can, but we're going to sit here and just go through fucking lies for 5 minutes at a time.
Yeah, you're going to sit here
insufferable.
for 60 seconds to 90 seconds, or else she's going to mute you, and then we're going to sit here for 60 to 90 seconds anyway. So why don't you just take notes and wait for her to be done?
That's right.
'Cause I'm cooking
So
like...
with this, what had happened for literally years with Total Biscuit is I've constantly gotten a drumbeat of criticism that has really, really frustrated me for years. Because I don't remember if Zoe Quinn did this or not, but it was a lot of people around Gamergate, like a lot of social justice people. You see this, like, they can be instinctively cruel, and they did. When he died, they completely celebrated. It was horrible to see, and I very deliberately did not participate in that. So what I'm telling you is it's been really frustrating for me. Like, you're talking about damaging reputations. I've had people accuse me of glorying in Total Biscuit's death for years and years and years, and not like one random tweet.
He's not constant. I think it's more so you've got a hatred of Kuihman more so than my hatred of Brianna Wu. I don't even fucking... Listen, Brianna Wu is just a slimy political operator, and I find her very frustrating to listen to. I don't hate Brianna Wu necessarily. I just find her to be a very slimy political operator, and I don't like it. You know? So I think you hate Kuihman. I'm calling it as I see it, okay? And I think I'm being fair, as always. I don't think that Kuihman is constantly interrupting to the point where you need to mute at every single fucking turn like this. That's crazy. And there's no conversation online that happens like this. Ever. This is an insane thing where you constantly are muting the other person every time they interject, every single time. How it would normally go is, you know, I mean, it's unfortunate there wasn't a moderator for this. But like, a moderator would step in and call the shot of who would speak. But because that's not happening, and one person has got control to mute the other, it's becoming this mess of like, no interjections, mute the other person so you can just bloviate whatever the fuck you want to say, and then let them speak for a couple of lines, you know?
8 years later, I'm talking like constantly. So it hurts my reputation. And frankly, it's beneath the standards that I hold myself to. So that's why I was saying that.
I don't know. You said he has a horrific history of extreme harassment. You weren't just saying, oh, you know, I think it's really important.
Chud is sweeping for Kuihman's immaturity. I'm literally not. I said earlier that Kuihman was being boisterous at times, right? But I don't think, like, that's controlled with a bit of moderation or something. You don't need to mute him at every turn. Like you guys are being fucking insane. You guys are acting like this is normal. Like you have a conversation with someone, and whenever you speak to challenge them, they mute you. That's not normal. When does that ever fucking happen? You guys are insane.
That we all just don't say bad things about someone when they die. That's not what you were saying. You were saying the opposite. You were saying this guy was a total piece of shit, and I should have said it at the time.
So my memory, and I will completely agree with you, this could be flawed. Like you're drawing attention to something.
I just feel like people are trying to defend the indefensible. It's completely indefensible to engage in a conversation in this way. Like when does this ever happen? It just doesn't. It doesn't. And your decision on whether or not you like it is going to depend on whether you like Kuihman or not, which is insane to me. Like you can fucking despise Kuihman if you want, but you can still recognize that constantly pausing someone at every turn is an insane way to behave.
Okay, that's wonderful.
But how do I make this is my truthful memory people? Is Total Biscuit and like Gamergate all unified around Total Biscuit kind of taking him as a paragon. And he seemed to me like his audience was really, really invested in harassing me. So that is honestly how I felt. If I did a deep dive on that today, I might come to a different conclusion, but it's honestly what I was thinking at the time.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Okay, so I would just like to acknowledge the fact that you came into this conversation talking about my research skills, but you have been repeating claims about someone for years with no research done. Interesting.
I'm telling you,
is that a fair characterization of the situation? If she said it,
yes.
Like, I mean, I post hold on, real quick, just because I post a half dozen tweets or a dozen tweets per day or whatever. So is one flippant tweet about like, I used to talk shit about this guy, I think this guy's an asshole or whatever. Now that he's dead, I felt uncomfortable about talking shit, but I still think he's a dick. Is that like a harassment campaign to smear Total Biscuit's memory?
It started while he was alive, right? It started when she was at panels. At some conference where she said Total Biscuit's one of the most toxic, transphobic, sexist harassers in gaming, or something to this effect, and then showed one of his tweets at a presentation about death threats, I believe, as well.
So I tell you what, I mean this in really good faith. If his widow wants to reach out and talk about this, I'd genuinely be interested to look at all those situations, and maybe I got it wrong back then. I think that's fair.
Why is that even necessary? That's insane. Just say, oh yeah, I shouldn't have said that. No? Why do you need to speak to the fucking widow? Just say, it was very wrong of me to do that and leave it at that. Like, why? Let's get the widow involved. I mean, I don't know what the deal with the widow is, but Jesus.
There's a lot of stuff. Like, let me tell you, I don't think Shu will mind me saying this story. Shu on Head is another person that I had a ton of conflict with during Gamergate. And I think it was about a year ago, she sent me a PM going, basically, I'm really sorry about all the conflict we had. It got out of hand. And I said, oh, no, I've been meaning to do the same thing to you. It completely got out of hand. I'm sorry. And we've been friendly with each other ever since. Like, I would be extremely eager to mend bridges there if we could.
Well, it's great to hear that you've...
Mend bridges, dude. Bridges. Mend bridges. Oh. Mend bridges. I don't think there needs to be a bridge mended. Like it's this idea that there's something that you need to fix that's broken. You need to fix. All you need to do is go, I shouldn't have said that, and that's it. It's that simple.
Connor said nothing about Wu wanting to bring a dead man's wife into online drama. What a great guy.
Thank you for the $5. I just don't understand why it can't just be simple. I don't even. Okay, listen. I don't.
Okay, that's wonderful.
It's going crazy. Yo, thanks for the Prime sub. By the way, guys, speaking of which, don't forget your Prime subs, memberships, super chats, all that good stuff. All of it is appreciated. We're coming to the end of the month. We're accepting all money from all avenues. Okay.
Kuihman talks for 5 seconds and Wu interrupts him and mutes him. If anyone thinks Kuihman is in the wrong here, they are biased. Wu is Keffels.
Thank you.
turned over a new leaf after a decade on that insane claim that you've been repeatedly saying.
I think you're
I'm stunned. I don't think I am whatsoever. That's okay.
That's
so
fine.
the Eagle Nation. That's a good one. The Eagle
Actually,
Nation.
can we go through
Okay, that's
Connor's
wonderful.
list?
But how do
Because
I make
that
We
was
can go
the
through.
list that
Absolutely, we can go
probably
through Connor's list. I think
Trans
the Eagle Nation's on there.
person
In fact,
I can't force people to call
I don't
me
even
anything.
remember.
Give me a
these.
second to pull up my list, please.
you should, because it's in
Alright,
every
so-
appearance you've ever done,
Nothing I
including the
say can
Sci-Fi
change their
Internet Ruined My
minds.
Life show. It's the one where Jace Connors said he was going to street race you to death.
Welcome to Chud
That guy,
Nation.
yeah.
Well, let's save that because that's actually one that I wouldn't mind pressing on a little bit. But so the next one that I had was claimed poverty during game making phase, but lived in Frank's uncle's house rent free, and parents were rich Republican donors.
That's from the that is from the Whitmer article. That is from the Whitmer article that you lived in Frank's
My
uncle's
parents
house free.
help pay for this. This
No,
is
that's not
something-
what
my
anyone said.
parents-
That's not what
make
anyone said, actually,
money
Brianna. If
off
you want,
the
just
press
Connor, do you want to repeat that?
that's what
Connor-
Connor.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ, chat, you legends, thank
Okay,
you.
that's wonderful. But how do I make money off
one
depressed
tweet
people?
saying he can't take him seriously. The glazing is undeniable.
Thank you for
Okay,
the
that's wonderful.
$10. Thank you for
But
the
how
super
do I make
chats.
money off depressed people?
After the call, Wu used the balgo on counterpoints. What an F
Okay,
slur.
thank you.
Yeah.
You want me to read that again?
Yeah. Brianna obviously didn't hear it, so.
Okay, so the implication was that the specific quote that I remember was eating rice and beans a shitload in order to
No.
be able to make payroll,
I did.
and claimed poverty during the game making in order to eat rice and beans to make payroll, but you actually lived in Frank's uncle's
that's
house
wonderful.
rent free,
But how do I
That's
make
right.
and
money
parents were
off
rich
depressed
Republican
people?
donors.
Ban honey points.
Guys, listen. I'm not going to ban people because you tell
Welcome
me to and
to
give me
Chud
money.
Nation.
It's not happening.
Jujmon
Give it up.
is Zero
Okay.
Knee gifted a tier 1 sub to watch Inio back. They have
Thank you
given
for the $20 though.
36 gift subs in the channel.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Thank you everyone
But
for
how do
the
I make money
support.
off depressed people?
Thank you.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Shitty conversation, good on the base. Thank you very much for the $2.
That was about the upbringing specifically. These are two sort of different claims that get modded.
So,
but yeah.
so okay. I thought from Connor's comment they were
Yeah.
related. So first of all, this is something that really upsets me when people act as though my parents have anything to do with my success. I've not talked to them, I believe, since God, when was the John Kerry election? Was that 2004? I think they disowned me around 2005. So it has been a really, really, really long time since I've talked to my parents. They've not helped me at all. And it really frustrates me when people
Okay,
like
that's
talk as though
wonderful.
they
But how do I make money off depressed people?
Thank you for taking $10. Not happening, but thank
may
you.
have anything to do with my success today. They didn't help buy my house. They certainly didn't help buy any of my cars. They've abandoned me.
You recognize
And
that's
it really-
that's totally
hold on,
delusional to
hold
say
on.
that people who
But how do
raised
I
you for
make
20
money?
years don't have anything to do with your
really, frankly,
success.
hurt
Silly
me a
Goober
lot.
became a member.
Did
Silly
I
Goober
have
celebrates
the
2 months of
advantage
membership.
of growing
Silly
up
Goober became
with
a
really
member.
well-off parents?
Silly Goober
100%.
celebrates
Oh, yeah, so
2
now-
months
I
of
think a really good
membership.
example of this is me going to rehab. I went to the PEP program, which was the same place that
Okay, that's
Tiger Woods
wonderful.
went to
But how
for
do I
his
make
sex
money
addiction.
off depressed
Even
people?
back in what year was this? 2002,
Okay,
I
that's
think.
wonderful. But how do I make
This was a
money off depressed people?
$30,000 a month
Diesel
live
Baby
at the
became a
hospital.
member. Diesel Baby celebrates 8 months of membership.
Okay, I need to
Donate
just
more
we need
money
to
and
catch up.
Chud
Thank you very
will ban.
much.
Go grab mommy's debit card and change his mind.
Okay.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make
It's not
money
happening, but thank you very much. I appreciate it
The
nonetheless.
Growling Arachnid C became a member. The Growling Arachnid C celebrates 4 months of membership. Throw more money at Chud. Everyone has a prize.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Thank you.
But how do
Appreciate
I
the
make
support. Thank you,
money
thank you, thank
off
you.
depressed people?
I heard we can bribe you into banning people with super chats. Ban 'em.
Okay, thank you for the $5.
Kind of place. That is insane privilege to be able to go there.
Okay, that's
But
wonderful.
that
But how
doesn't
do I
mean
make
I'm
money
lying.
off
when
Felix
I
with
said
1,000
there
bits,
have been
thank
times
you.
in my life where I've really struggled with poverty. For my game studio, we were living in Frank's uncle's house rent free. The majority of everything Frank and I made was going to pay payroll. We paid Maria, we paid Amanda, we had to pay voice actors. Frank actually would get off of work because we couldn't afford a 3D modeler and did work all evening in Inventor Fusion. And then we came up with this weird pipeline to turn inventor fusion stuff into, from NURBS to polygonal models. So I'm not lying. That was a tremendously stressful, like, financial period of my life. Thank God it's so much better now.
Okay, so my issue with that is that it's in the presentation, right? Is that you'll present it as though you were super hard done by, but you actually had all of these advantages coming in from all around the outside that were set up for you, not by any work of your own, but by the circumstances of you and Frank's familial connections.
I think if you looked at my comments through Gamergate, there would be a lot of acknowledging privilege. I will tell you right now, I 100% acknowledge that. I've also had some really tough stuff happen in my life that has given me a ton of resilience. And
oh my god, why can't someone just say, yeah, I fucked up? That's it. Leave it at that. Why does it have to be this fucking victimhood shit? It's so annoying.
I was looking today. I've been sober for 21 years. That didn't happen serendipitously. That takes a lot of willpower to do that, and I'm very proud of that.
But no one's saying you can't be proud of things in your life. My point was more about the fact that you presented it as though it was like all self-made. You worked from scratch.
No,
it's not quite.
No,
quite.
I'm not. I would not present myself that way.
Sure, that's okay. That's a disagreement presentation. I'd agree. That's probably a weaker point for sure.
I mean, this is. I think this is something.
Well, hold on. That was almost a Kuihman concession.
Yeah.
I'll concede to the fact that it's all in framing. It's all in the framing, ultimately.
Something I would say is, looking at this time period of my life in retrospect, my parents really used their money to control me and to limit the things I was able to do in my life. And, it's not them disowning me was
but how
the most
do I make money off depressed people?
You see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes yet? Ooh, ah, ah.
I actually did. See Planet of the Apes. I took the kids to see it, or the boys to see it. It was good. I don't know why you're a bit of a random question, but thank you very much for the £20.
Painful thing I ever went through. But if you look at my career, my life after that, I got married, I did a bunch of things I'm very proud of. And it's really when my life started. So I think people tend to think that those backgrounds are like idyllic, and it just wasn't the reality that I have.
Okay. Still with us? All right, cool. I'm kind of skipping the smaller ones because I think it's like framing. There was like clubbing with Chelsea Manning. I don't think we really need to get into that unless either one of you want to.
That was just about having the Washington connections. But yeah, sure.
Right. I didn't think that would make or break this conversation.
No, absolutely not.
So then Jesse Singal, I'll just be charitable to Queen.
Okay, yeah. The Jesse Singal stuff is fucking crazy. I'm very... listen. I'm still holding on to that one time that Jesse Singal mentioned me. He didn't even know who I am. He just said it was about the Keffel's pedo thing. Calling me a pedo. It referenced me in a podcast thing. I'm single-pilled after that moment. No, I think Jesse Singal is, one of the most kind of put upon, maligned, shat on journalists out there,
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
You are on the wrong side of this, Chud. If you only knew how big Brianna is, you'd understand.
That is not the real counterpoint, but thank you very much. One chaser to another. Thank you very much for the 333.
And bring this one up. Brianna, allegedly, you criticized Jesse Singal for bad sourcing and thought that he was hypercritical of trans issues.
Thank you, Twist, for the prime sub.
Jesse Singal, in return, said, and then
you
also
please say
single.
Say single next time, please. I'm begging. Don't say single, please.
Single. So Jesse Singal. And you also claim that Jesse Singal tried to get you fired. Jesse Singal's counterclaim is that he emailed Rebellion Pack, not realizing that it was you, he did not realize that Cenk Uygur was involved at the time. So he thought that your characterization that he was trying to get Cenk Uygur to fire you from Rebellion Pack was uncharitable, to say the least.
Sure. So I know this is going to sound Weasley, but it's the truth. I've gone back and forth a lot with Katie Herzog about this. There's a really strong appearance.
Really, Brianna? It's going to sound Weasley.
After,
Sorry, I muted myself.
My health issues this summer, and something I agreed to do there was just to calm the temperature down. I was going to not make further comments on that. I'm going to say I think it was a genuine misunderstanding, and I think when you see my appearance on that show, I think you'll see how I was acting in good faith about the information I had, and because of some of the ways the database was set up. And I realize now that Jesse was probably acting in good faith from the way he saw. The trick is I didn't understand that until I talked to Katie the other day via email. So just let us hash this out. It's going to be a future conversation.
Another person that Brianna's going to pour honey in the ear of. Great.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
I have nothing to contribute to this conversation, but I love you, best friend. Good show today.
Thank you for the $5. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wait,
so
want to get any shots in before we go to the next one?
Was that you're talking to Jesse Single about this? Was that?
I think so. I expect to after the summer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, part of my point in that was that you hadn't confronted him on it. So if you're confronting him on it, it's great to hear. I'll be watching.
Gotta deal with my health stuff this summer. We'll get through it.
Then this is actually the one that I think I probably care about the most. This is a strong quote, so I'll accept if it was hyperbolic from Kuihman's side. However, saw everything Keffels was doing, approved of DIY HRT, and this is an implication. So
sorry,
if you don't
wait,
like
did
my
I
framing,
say
that's totally...
approved of DIY HRT? I don't think I made that specific claim. I don't think I've ever seen Brianna necessarily say outright, "I approve of DIY HRT." I don't think I've ever seen Brianna say that. I don't think I would say that.
I don't. You can see a lot of media of me saying the opposite.
Then, Kuihman, just so I'm not framing you incorrectly, can you maybe articulate your position for Brianna's participation in support of Keffels?
Yeah, sure. So Brianna was repeatedly confronted with numerous discrepancies, contradictions in Keffel's story, way she was using the money, statements she'd made about how she was using the money. Each time, Brianna had a deflecting response that either said something to the effect of, "I don't care, I don't feel scammed, use the money on cocaine if you want, ha 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 ha, isn't that so funny?" Or, yeah, it could be a joke, but generally, if I had an addict friend who was an addict in the public spotlight, I wouldn't say, feel free to...
We have the darkest sense of humor.
Yeah, I've known addicts, and I don't generally joke about being like, "Oh, why don't you have a drink? Why don't you have a drink?"
Yo, we'll go for a beer, mate. Do you want to join me? We're going down the pub for a couple of bevies. You want to fucking crack on? Come on, what's the worst that could happen? Just have a little sip. Just have a little sip. Come on, what's the problem? A little sip of beer. Come on, what's the worst? Oh.
Drink. That's not generally the sort of joke I make to addicts, no.
I can say, well, that's fine.
And it's certainly not the sort of joke I would make if someone was accused of scamming $100,000 for their addiction either.
So this is, did you see my tweet the other day of basically saying, yeah, I've had enough, fuck Keffels. Yeah, so this is, again, you can view this charitably or you can view this non-charitably. I got into this when I did Beckett's podcast the other day. I see a lot
Mantis,
of
we're not friends.
In the sense that, you're a really young person. She's trying to make her way in the world, dealing with addiction, the whole Kiwi Farms thing. I really saw myself in her, and I tried to be the very best friend as I could to her through all of this. And I will fully admit I have probably looked the other way for too long on this. This is a friendship I should have let lapse a long time ago. I'm a pretty loyal person, and I tend to stick by my friends. But in this case, it was a mistaken judgment. I've never defended HRT, for minors being given without a prescription, and I would just say, I don't know. I mean, is it hard for you to understand, like, sticking by someone you considered a friend?
I think you should have a bit more due diligence in the stuff you're saying if you're making those claims
Yeah.
in public when there's huge allegations flying around. Yeah, I do think that's a problem, actually. In
I
fact,
think
that's what
fair. I
Tipster
think
has been
that's fair.
screwed on for the last year, actually. Is basically that jumping in to defend friends that
Yeah.
don't deserve it when they're doing horrible actions. Like, I mean, you were literally saying stuff like, if you're going after Keffels, you're a useful idiot. You need to stop talking about this. This is just furthering a harassment campaign of a trans woman. That's what you were telling people when they were bringing up concerns with the GoFundMe.
Which context was that in? Which drama scandal was going on at the
I
moment?
believe
probably,
that was off
yeah.
the Destiny manifesto.
Was I trying to patch things up with Destiny by then?
I don't think that. I think that would be a huge indictment on your character if you said the reason why I was the reason why I was deflected from Keffels is because I was not trying to patch things up with Destiny yet.
No. I'm trying to understand the time period of what was going on there. So if it was right,
it would have been within a year. Correct me. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like Destiny Manifesto on Keffels was probably what, like 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And then I feel like PB was last year, so that would have been.
Yeah. Why would that be relevant to figuring that out? I mean, that kind of gives the game away a bit. You know, that was an aspect of why that was happening.
I feel like that would have been probably 6 months before attempting to get that bridge rebuilt.
So this is my understanding.
Apparently, it was Brianna was muting. Counterpoints claims he never muted once. It was all Brianna doing the muting.
Or at least my recollection, that when the Destiny manifesto came out, I was quoted, I think 3 times in it, and it was all sourcing a bunch of Kiwi Farm stuff. I don't think I've ever talked about this.
Please tell me Connor's coming on after. I mean, sure, if he wants to. I mean, I don't really know what there is to discuss. I mean, it's a massive L. Brianna Wu looks terrible, and Kuihman won, but sure.
But like the story of Chloe Segal, this really tragic story of a trans woman that set herself on fire, like y'all don't even know the truth of that. It is so much darker than what people even know there. Like it was a slow motion breakdown for years with her burning every single friendship and bridge that she had. So I don't know. I think in the moment immediately after watching that, I did feel like Keffels was getting unfairly piled on. And I think, as I'm telling you right now, I think that was an error in judgment. I should not have run cover for Keffels as long as I did with my reputation.
Okay, yeah, I'm just acknowledging the fact that your reasoning here isn't about the evidence or honest engagement with what was going on. It's all to do with your associations and who you're friends with.
No, that's not it at all. I've seen the way that people can create a narrative about you that just takes these.
Chud, you should just bring him on and mute him every time he tries to make a point. True, I should do that, correct.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
They give it $2.
Facts, and it arrives at a conclusion, and it just like puts all of it point by point by point by point, and it distorts your reputation. I know about this firsthand through Gamergate. Was Keffel still trying to keep Kiwi Farms offline at that point? Because that's probably what I was thinking at the time. That was an effort to undermine that work that at the moment I thought was good.
Sure, but it doesn't seem like you had a very informed opinion on Kiwi Farms either, because you only found out that they disallowed death threats and coordinated harassment the other day when you were speaking to Mutahar.
I mean, I'm sure they have a pretext for that. I'm not sure how effective that is.
Well, I mean, what do you mean how effective it is? It's about what's allowed on the site. I mean, users on a site can do anything. Users on Twitter do crazy stuff every day, but it's about what the rules of the site are.
I think this really comes down to pretext and subtext. So Destiny is a really good example. The way that he runs DGG, I've always felt that DGG gets an unfair reputation for being harassment central because so much of the culture there is built around really trying to tamp that stuff down. Like the subreddit has that rule that drama is done in 3 days. They do downvote transphobia if something's really sexist or over the line, even stuff I personally would allow, like there was that picture of Lav without makeup. They took that down just because they thought it was the best thing to do. I think Destiny is really proactive in trying to set a culture for DGG that lowers this level of harassment for people. In my estimation, I don't think Kiwi Farms really does stuff of that level, as this was probably my same assessment of Total Biscuit at the time. So I think if you're going to grow a community to a certain extent, you have a responsibility about how they behave. And I agree with Destiny's assessment that it's not true that you can't like control things that they do. I think you actually can to some degree.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's saying that, but the point is that you've signed on to an attack that was the point of the attack was to remove Cloudflare
I'm sorry,
protection.
which attack? Just so
drop Kiwi Farms. Drop Kiwi Farms.
Yeah.
The point of that attack is to remove Cloudflare protection so that people can commit crimes against them. And your reason for agreeing with that is site culture, not because of any specific action or rule, but just site culture.
I think that this is the part of the story that you're missing. There have been so many efforts behind the scenes to take down Kiwi Farms for years, and not just
That's
by
bad.
me.
That's a bad thing. I disagree with that.
Can I finish my point, please? You can disagree, but I'm explaining to you what my thought process was. There were efforts for years.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off the press people?
To take down Kiwi Farms. There was one extremely famous celebrity at one point that actually tried to get me to join onto a mega lawsuit that he was going to file. I said no and opted out of that. I don't know where that went, just because I didn't want more heat from it. But, you know, my thinking there is that Kiwi Farms, I think it is a hardcore doxing site. And I think that, you know, you should meet the same level of defamation and libel laws that, you know, like a journalist site should have to do. So I did support that at the time.
Okay. But then you would do it through the courts officially, right? Also, hang on a sec. But Kiwi Farms is a forum. It's like a social media site, which would surely have protections that the website isn't responsible for the things that are posted on it. Why would it have the same standard as like a paper or something like that? Yeah, exactly. It's safe harbor in that people can say what they want and you're not responsible for what's published on there as long as it doesn't break the law. And if an individual user you feel defames you, then you would have to go after them as an individual, right?
Well, you can sue someone for posting something that's a defamatory.
It's really, really hard to get their IP address and hunt them down.
Sure, but that doesn't mean that you can then just start taking sites down because of the actions of a user. That's against free speech.
So I think if you look, you can look this up. I've given 100 interviews saying this about a way that my opinion has changed, and I'll repeat it here for you. So one of the things that really, I'm sorry, changed my opinion on if this, for lack of a word, illiberalism is working was Elon Musk buying Twitter. You know, if you made a list of the people that helped Twitter set their dead naming is bannable policy, I would be on that list. I championed this for years. I helped them get the research together. I worked with the trust and safety team to basically set that policy. We worked on a lot of international angles for it to make it fair. And, you know, at the time, I was really proud of doing that. What I can see in hindsight today is there's something about not being able to dead name people that drives conservatives and transphobes really crazy in a way that literally led Elon Musk to buy
Guys, that
Twitter
is not permission to you. That is
turn
not
it
permission.
into a site that
Guys,
by
that is not
every
permission.
measure is way worse for trans people. So I'm looking at the totality of where the progressive left has gone as far as on free speech. And I think you can look at my public comments recently. I think it's gone too far. I think it's illiberal. The entire reason I started this show with Connor is I think we need to return to being able to talk about ideas with each other. So I'm not sure today, if you asked me, if I would support Drop Kiwi Farms.
After your response, can I interject, Kuihman?
Please.
I don't know if I have another response. Go for it.
Okay,
I've got
so,
other stuff
yeah,
to bring
so
up, but yeah, go for it.
I have a question right there because I have an internal narrative and I have a perception of Brianna.
Is Crunch Points trans too? Asking for a friend.
Thank you for the $5. Appreciate it.
I would say this really kicked into high gear since October 7th, but it seems like Brianna has experienced some things over the past couple of years that made her frustrated. Is the muted word of it, frustrated with the far left. So when she said,
yeah, sorry, I'm getting a bit distracted. Yeah, I mean, being permissive of removing a site's DDoS protection, the implicit thing being there that then illegal attacks would then be implemented against the site. I mean, that's crazy because you think that some of the content on there is defamatory. I mean, by that logic, could you not justify doing that to any website because it hosts defamatory content? That's why it's so critical that these 230 protections exist. Because without that, you're going to fucking have this issue where people are going to take websites down by suing for the content on the website that's defamatory. And it's like you're supposed to go after the individual, not the website for defaming you. It's such an insane logic for going after Kiwi Farms. And I think the truth of it is that Brianna Wu obviously has got a massive chip on her shoulder about Kiwi Farms and supported it because she hates Kiwi Farms because of all the way that they've talked about and documented her over the years. It's so transparently, it's like so transparently a fucking thing, like a having a sort of bitter aspect of it, rather than being a genuine, like, well thought out, okay, this is why the website needs to go down or whatever, because obviously if you thought that and you thought it was a bad website, you try and do it by legal means, particularly if you're supposed to be some sort of, policy person. But yeah,
as
crazy.
Hey, I was proud to work with the progressives in order to shut down this form of what I viewed as hate speech at the time. However, what ended up happening was it put so much pressure on conservatives and basically people who don't like trans people. It ended up backfiring. As a result, the internet has become a worse place, almost indirectly or consequentially as a result of the work that I used to do in the past. I think that I am better served by having conversations with other people about trans issues that kind of puts my community in a better light. I kind of see someone shifting from the far left to the center. So do you see that, or do you think that's not genuine?
No, I don't think it's genuine at all. Again, Brianna even here is like completely dodged every opportunity, like trying to backtracking some of these claims. Like the Total Biscuit stuff is just crazy. The amount of the amount of waffling on that was nuts. We still haven't gotten to Deagle Nation, which I would love to, because I like that you pretended that you didn't know what that was, but you absolutely do. That it's delusional to pretend otherwise.
Is this the person that got into a car accident? You guys just want to knock that out real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so this has been your flagship example for years.
Flagship?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
This was a weekend story, dude.
No, this was on your sci-fi episode, The Internet Ruined My Life. This was used in your Congress ad.
Do you think come on, man.
You described it in that episode. You described that car crash video as the scariest moment of your life.
It was terrifying when it happened. I was really terrified by that.
That seems quite unlikely, but regardless,
I 100% thought it was 100% real at the time. It really scared me. And something you may not know is he had been sending me explicit death threat after explicit death threat and after explicit death threat. Evidence that this person is mentally unstable is that they are a ward of the state, as I understand it, in, isn't it New Hampshire? Which is why prosecutors couldn't prosecute him for any of this, because he's not legally responsible for any of his actions. That's my recollection.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, apparently it was some sort of joke or meme. Who's got a link to the video? Anyone?
That's not true at all, actually.
Well, That's what they told me.
I believe that the 176-page Gamergate Files FBI report that was released actually said that they didn't prosecute because they immediately realized it was a joke upon speaking to him.
Well, hold on. You're assuming the FBI was the people that were prosecuting that because
no, they said they took it. They said
hold on. No. You're mistaken here. I'm talking about the Boston.
Oh, is this it here?
Bro, YouTube, this is Jace right here, and this is my fucking car, or my mom's car, that when I was street racing, could not perform! Couldn't fucking perform on the road, and now the bitch shit is crashed, okay? I can't even kick the windshield because it's made of bullshit plastic from Chinks. It goes, I wasn't even fucking drunk. I was just racing, you know, like normal. I was trying to street race.
What the fuck is this?
This
is so stupid.
I hit and I fucking rolled on the ice, fucking rolled down here, and now look at this piece of shit. I'm a street racing god! Fuck! I'm a street racing god! And this piece of shit! And this is all because of Ivan and the rest of these terrorists who fucking made me do this. And this isn't my fault. And just because the road was slippery doesn't mean I'm not a street racing god!
Okay. Apparently there's a slur. Oh, there's another video that's got a slur in. Okay, we get the idea. Okay. I mean, yeah, it's obviously an absurdist joke. The idea that you would think that's a legitimate thing is insane. Well, no, Counterpoints claims he wasn't doing the muting, that he wasn't responsible.
There are multiple levels of law enforcement
that's
that I
wonderful.
worked with during
He's also not a ward of the state. He's in World Peace too.
He makes comedy bits with Sam Hyde now. Deagle Nation, he's an
Oh,
OG
okay, that
on
makes
YouTube.
sense. Thank you for the super chat.
With Sam Hyde, that's coming out soon.
Can I finish what I'm saying? There are multiple
gonna
levels
lie.
of law enforcement that I worked with. It was Arlington PD. Then from there, that got bumped up to the prosecutors here in Massachusetts, local prosecutors, and then there was the FBI. Just because the FBI was saying one thing does not mean that's what another law enforcement agency was thinking.
Okay, they didn't prosecute because they realized it was a joke. This is all in the 176-page report that
I
came out.
may have come to that conclusion, but I'm telling
I
you,
believe it was discussed with the prosecutor. I'm pretty sure that's in
accurately what local Massachusetts prosecutors told me. They don't work for the FBI.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm pretty sure they discussed it with prosecutors. That's in the FBI report.
Why would you assume that?
Because I read the article like yesterday. I'm pretty sure it's in the report that they discussed it with the prosecutors, and they didn't prosecute because it was a joke. It's nothing to do with them being a ward of the state or being an actual risk.
Are we potentially talking about two different people?
Right, I see. Okay, so yeah, the claim is that like the FBI got involved, something to do with ward of the state, but apparently the FBI got involved. I mean, obviously, I don't know about any of this shit, right? But yeah, so the claim is that the FBI actually saw it was a joke, and that was that.
I don't know. There's no chance talking to two different people. It's the car crash video, and he also did the one where he said he was going to exact elite justice on your soul. It's the same guy. You spoke about him many times.
Legitimately scared me.
So Kuihman, just out of curiosity here, like if you're having schizospergs enter into your DMs and saying wild shit, like, are we supposed to presume that all of that is a joke?
No, I would generally what I would say is that everyone gets death threats online once they're above a certain thing, a certain level. It's about whether death threats are credible. Now, if you looked at those death threats, they absolutely were not credible at any point because it was a very obvious skit. Most people knew it was a skit. There were BuzzFeed articles very shortly after it came out saying it was a skit. Brianna continued to use it as an example of harassment.
Articles
saying it was a skit. There were there was also a sci-fi episode taking it very seriously. I'm aware there were some places taking it seriously, Brianna. I don't think anyone engaging seriously actually thought it was a real threat. It's on the level. It's on the level of sort of like when Sam, because I mean this guy's $1 Million Extreme. He is associated with Sam Hyde. It's sort of like when Sam Hyde got up and said, "I'm going to kill Hassan Piker in his home." Like no one saw it as a credible threat.
Hold on.
Can I just say something here, Connor?
Yeah, and I want to push back on that real quick, but yeah, go ahead.
You're assuming at the time I knew he was associated with Sam Hyde.
I'm not assuming that at all. I'm saying that the comedy style is similar.
Dude, I don't want to mute you. Can I just finish?
I'm just correcting your interpretation. That's fine.
You are assuming that I understood that at the time. This is what happened according to what I remember about what happened. There was a crazy person that sent me so much stuff, death threats constantly via DM. There's a person here in Massachusetts. I don't want to dead name them because they've transitioned, but he actually worked through this person to get messages to me and hype them up. So I was getting death threat, death threat, death threat. I've got guns. And then that video came to me. It did legitimately scare me at the time. I think today I would probably see that a little bit more clearly, but legitimately at the time I was.
Well, the thing is, I don't have a problem with getting a fucking schizo video and being like, holy shit, and it freaking you out a little bit. That's fine. That's not a problem, right? It's bringing it up and using it as an argument or an example. That's the issue. It's the continuing usage of it as an example. When, you know, from what I can understand, long after the situation's been resolved, you know?
Getting so many death threats constantly, rape threats. I don't know if you've read the story about what happened when my dog died and how Gamergate reacted. I had nut jobs talk about how they were going to go through every room in my house diagramming the shootings that they were going to plan. So, like, I would just ask for a little bit of charity that my, like, defenses were set to so high, I could not make the same analysis someone on the outside could make.
Yeah, I could even maybe grant you it in the moment. However, the thing is that very shortly after the threats, it was revealed in the public very broadly by both the FBI report and BuzzFeed News reporting. Lots of places were saying it was a joke.
FBI happened years after that.
Yeah, FBI report was in 2017. Yeah, but BuzzFeed articles date back to 2015. If I could just finish, Connor. And you continued with this story. This has been your flagship example at every turn, even in your Congress ad, which is long past when all of this has happened. Yet you never mention that it's a joke. You never clarify that part. It's always just there was this terrifying video of these people in skull masks in a crashed car.
It was. There was also another.
Yeah, but you neglect to mention the fact that wasn't a credible threat in any way.
You're missing a key point. The person with the skull mask was a completely different.
That was Tice. They were part of the same group. It was Tice, Eli, and Jace. Yeah.
Well, hold on. So are we expecting? So sorry, sweep time. So we're expecting Brianna to like specifically research each individual schizo who's going after her.
No,
and try to, like,
not at all.
them out?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm making it clear that this was all associated. They did make it clear they were associated in their videos. They called themselves Deagle Nation and were doing Operation Woopocalypse. So they did associate themselves in their videos. It's not.
Okay, I would like to interject at least part of my perspective, because I actually consider myself a fan of Sam Hyde, at least in reference to some of his work. And yet, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Sam Hyde do PEDs in order to get in shape enough in order to go box? Didn't he absolutely fuck up his opponent in that boxing ring? Wouldn't it probably be something that Sam Hyde would likely do, is show up in Los Angeles in order to hang out at places that Hassan Piker hangs out at? Wouldn't it absolutely be the kind of shit that he would do, where he would pretend to be schizo and like?
Wait, honestly, so are you arguing that it's a credible death threat?
Wait,
are you saying it's
the worst that Sam Hyde would do is he would turn up and, you know, maybe just hang out a bit to freak him out? I don't know, bro. What? What is his point? That you would sit, that Hassan should be worried about getting like embarrassed by Sam Hyde or something like that, not harmed in some way or something, right? He just go to where he lives and fucking hang around or something like that too.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Hey, thank you for the $2. Appreciate it. Thank you. Sam Hyde would end it. Sam Hyde would not kill Hassan Piker, would he? Wait, what? What insane concept? So fucking Sam Hyde is going to go murder someone and have a fucking murder charge under it. No, there's no way. He's a comedian. He's not a fucking murderer. I don't know, man. It just seems like an absurd point that is just not rooted in any sort of reality.
You're saying it's a credible death threat? You think that was a credible death threat that Sam Hyde made? Is that your argument right now?
See, I feel like we're at post irony.
Okay, right.
Like,
okay,
I feel like
this
we
is
don't
just.
know
Sorry,
which
clearly,
way is up.
I came in being accused of being autistic, but I'm not so sure that I'm the autistic one.
No, hold on. Tell me that it wouldn't be the ultimate post ironic joke for him to actually do it.
What, to murder someone? Wait, that's not what you want. He's going to post-ironically murder Hassan. Come on, dude. That is insane.
I mean, would I laugh if Sam Hyde killed Hassan Piker? Yeah.
I mean, I would, but well, okay. So here we go. So that's kind of the point, is that like you hit levels of like meta irony or post irony that nobody knows what the fuck is going on anymore. It's like Dreg or Sam Hyde or any of that shit.
Okay,
it's
not he's not actually going to kill Hassan Piker. Nobody actually thought he was going to kill Hassan Piker. Nobody actually think that's going to happen. Hassan doesn't think that's going to happen.
Maybe I just dreamed about it. But anyways, the point being that like expecting somebody who's under that pressure to be able to differentiate between threats and humor, I think is an unrealistic expectation. You can say I can even on a prolonged timeline.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money?
Oh no, I mean, if you're saying after the fact on a prolonged timeline,
I'm saying
there should be enough time to
settle. I don't believe that Brianna genuinely thought it was threats. Personally, me personally. However, I can even concede that and then say, okay, but still, you presented the situation after the fact when this was broadly known and never mentioned the fact it was a joke. I don't think I've ever heard Brianna reference that.
And you can see that there are enough like creepy pieces of shit that it might all become an amalgamation of like one general trend of people.
Because Brianna specifically cites Brianna specifically cites that incident a lot and has done a lot.
Isn't it the most? And isn't it also the most like visceral? Skull masks, knives, personal threats.
Okay, it's not a problem to recognize that something happened that bothered you or something like that, right? But it's the pointing to it that's the problem, and acting and continuing to act like it's more serious than it is. I'm blown away that Counterpoint is genuinely trying to argue that there's going to be some sort of post-ironic murder in Sam Hyde's future. Fucking hell, dude. Well, it's fine to be bothered. Like, you know, if someone, you know, I don't know, if someone walked up to me with a gun and was like, I'm going to shoot you, I'd freak the fuck out. But then they were like, oh, I'm only joking. It's just, I've got a flag in it. Pop. Then at that point, it's like, okay, we're just fucking around. You wouldn't then gesture back towards that and be like, my life was actually in threat. In the moment, you might think like that is the case, but as soon as you recognize that it's not that, you would go, okay, well, I don't need to worry about that. And in the future, you'd refer to it accordingly, wouldn't you?
It's the funniest.
Driven to the location,
yeah, but you don't get to, you know, in Brianna's Congress Act, she says that this was behavior so criminal that the FBI got involved and then flashed up images of that situation. Yes, yes. If you allow me to finish,
Sure.
You flashed up images of that situation. So if you're saying, okay, the FBI realized it was a joke and chose not to prosecute.
That's wonderful. But how do I make money?
The FBI did choose not to prosecute because they knew it was a joke.
Wouldn't it be funny if Sam Hyde ironically executed elite justice against Lena Dunham?
Okay. Thank you very much for the super chat.
Prosecutors chose not to go through with it. That did happen. If you don't bring that up when you're accusing someone
of handy, by the way,
I can send you the articles on the FBI report. Yeah, sure.
Can you just send me, because I would just be curious about the verbiage.
Yeah. So, fuck. What was I saying just now? If you accuse someone of criminal behavior and neglect to mention the fact that when it was investigated, they immediately realized it was a joke. Yeah, I would say that's tantamount to a lie.
I don't think it was not funny.
That's part of the reason
they were
hilarious
videos, but that's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I think you already mentioned this, but it's my next point. So I just want to make sure that we say it out loud. So I give you permission to do cocaine. That tweet. We're all acknowledging that that's a joke, right?
It's in humor, but the point of it is to deflect from scam allegations.
It can be in poor taste. Yes. It can be
no. You're missing. Sure. The employment of that joke is to deflect from allegations of her misusing the money.
It's very simple. It's a very simple thing, right? So Kevels is getting accused of embezzling funds, and then the response is jokey, but it validates the idea that that embezzlement doesn't matter. right? It's very simple. It's a very simple process being followed here, okay? That it's like an obfuscation that's happening. Not the same as after you recognizing something is clearly a joke, using it to point to like people doing violent threats against you. Yeah, you're publicly saying you shouldn't care about this. It didn't happen, but if it is, it's a good thing. You deserve a bit of chop.
This is the bad faith that I'm talking about.
That's not
dude.
bad faith
This
remotely.
is, hold on, can I finish? Like, a hand to God, this is dark addict from like humor from one addict to another. That's all it is. That's all it is. This
changes
is the
when there's
mistake.
allegations
This
of a
is the
massive
mistake
scam.
that you people make. You come to a conclusion and you look for evidence that supports that conclusion constantly. It's like everything I do as a public figure is viewed through this lens, like Brianna Wu is a terrible person or a liar. I think there's actually a lot of evidence of people that know me and work with me that would tell you I'm somebody that has integrity, that I like tell the truth, that I'm a thoughtful person, I'm a kind person. Like, there are a lot of people that would have my back on that, but y'all take everything and run it through this filter. So a joke tweet to a fellow addict becomes magnified to me like running cover for a campaign. It's just crazy, man.
You were running cover because there was scam allegations going on, and your response to those allegations was to say, I give you permission to spend all the money on cocaine.
I'm telling you, it was a joke.
I don't care if it's a joke. It's your response to people accusing.
Okay. This feels like kind of just pig-headedness, you know? Like, it's very clear the point that's being made here. It's very obvious, right? What is the purpose of the joke? What purpose does it serve? Okay? What is the purpose of saying that? It's clearly not... You know, it's clearly to obfuscate and move away from the actual substantive criticism that's being made, only to then later turn around when it's the last stop on the fucking train and be like, no, actually, do you know what? Yeah, it is bad that they stole 100K, actually.
If you care,
okay,
I can tell
I'm making my
friends.
point. People, okay, you're making it in public. First of all, it's a public statement. And if you're going to make a public statement, I'm allowed to criticize it. And if people agree with me, then that's the way it goes.
Sure. But
I'm raising my point to you.
It's a game of seesaw where you don't show your face. You just attack people. It's
my
really
face is out there on the internet. I'm just not on camera right now.
It's a really lazy game to play.
Can I actually read this? Because this is where I feel like we're looking at the same problem and we're coming to different conclusions, but I actually feel like it reinforces borderline both of your perspectives. So can I just read this? Out loud on stream?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm actually going to read this. Some of it I think is okay, but all right, anyways. The day before Halloween, FBI agents showed up to a home of a Massachusetts.
I'm down for the mute debate with Kuihman. Well, I mean, listen. I'll moderate. I'll moderate it then, okay? And well, as long as fucking Kuihman wants to come on, that is up to Kuihman, obviously. No, listen. Don't. No. We're not doing silly muting games on my channel, okay?
Massachusetts man linked to dozens of rape, bomb, and death threats targeting women involved in the video game scene. They believed he was a supporter of Gamergate, the militant online movement that wants to end feminist criticism of video games. The man, whose name was kept confidential by the FBI, confessed. He told the agents that he was a tech guy, a qualified A++
I don't know
coder.
if that's the right story. There's a couple of different stories in that article, I think.
Well,
because this is about the FBI.
If you don't mind,
sorry.
You
If you
say
don't,
that this is colored, but.
Sorry, I think there are different incidents. There are different incidents that are in
this one has the document talking about why the FBI let them go. So your information is reinforced in another paragraph.
No, listen. Even as a meme, I wouldn't do that. Okay, I am fair. I'm a fair dealer and a fair operator. My word is my bond. Okay.
So if you don't mind humoring me,
yeah, go for it. I'm not sure that's the right thing. Go for it. Yeah, speak your thing.
Okay. who played video games a lot and lived with his parents, according to a set of documents for the FBI released on its investigation into Gamergate. He told the agents that he hung out on 4chan, the notorious online image posting board that, according to the FBI documents, has a history of hostile... we can skip that. He admitted that he had mocked the women who were targets of Gamergate's threats on 4chan, calling one of them a professional victim who exaggerated the threats. Then the agents showed him one of the threatening emails. The man said he had created a new email account specifically for the purpose of sending threats to Gamergate's targets. He admitted to sending the threatening email, understood that the email looked really bad. Crucially, he also confessed that he knew it was a crime. The man understood that it was a federal crime to send a threatening communication to anyone and will never do it again, the FBI wrote. So, despite this is where we get into your point.
I think that was the right.
This is where we get to your point. Yet, despite all that, an email trail, a confession, and an admission from the suspect, he knew he was breaking the law. The FBI let him go after the suspect said it was a joke. So basically, then it's that summary, which I can read if you want. But basically what happened was the FBI, they didn't say that the guy didn't commit a crime. They referred it to the Boston State's Attorney's Office, and the Boston State's Attorney's Office declined to prosecute. But I'll tell you, like, this is one of the problems with cyber stalking and cyber harassment, is because it's a pain in the ass, and because they're dealing with like murders and all that kind of shit and drug dealing. State police oftentimes are not going to enforce a cyber stalking statute. So for me, if the FBI is saying like we have a half dozen, or we have 4 people at least that we interviewed who send death and rape threats, but then they said, lol, it was a joke, and then they didn't want to waste their time on it, so they sent it to the state's attorney's office, and the state's attorney's office said they didn't want to waste their time on it. That doesn't really do anything to diminish Brianna's perception of the event.
Okay, I don't think anyone was. I don't think I was saying that.
Oh,
Brianna's perception
yo, Crew's on the back foot. Let's go for once.
of the event is determined by the FBI's. What I'm saying is that I think that there's no way a reasonable person would come to the conclusion that those threats are credible, and that the FBI also came to that conclusion because
I mean, I want to joke right now, and I want to create like half a dozen accounts and just start sending you fucking death threats and rape threats, and maybe I'll visit the UK sometime.
Wait, okay, but wait. We're differentiating quite a lot of different things here, right? So obviously, if someone is like creating multiple accounts in order to, send you a bunch of shit, then yeah, I think you could argue that's like cyber harassment, and maybe the authorities wouldn't want to deal with that. I thought that this guy in the car video, I thought that he was just like a memer or something. No,
sometime, but like that's like. But obviously, the whole thing is like, we know each other, we're fucking around, we're bantering, et cetera, et cetera. But if you don't have that context and it's randos on the fucking internet.
Okay, Connor, I would advise you at least watch the videos. And
okay, it's fine in a moment, right? If someone I didn't know, there's some crazy video talking about coming to hunt me down or something, I might freak out a bit in the moment. I'll be like, oh my God, what the fuck? What's this? But then when you recognize it is just a joke or a meme or something, or even they don't really have the capability to do it and they're just a fucking schizo, I mean, even then, you'd probably be a bit like, ugh, well, I don't know, you'd probably just shrug your shoulders and move on, wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? But yeah. And if someone is like that, I mean, all you can do is contact the authorities. And I mean, if someone is setting up random accounts, unless they find out who it is somehow, there's not really much you can do about it. I don't know. This just feels a bit, I don't know. Bit weird. Bit of a weird fucking argument here. It's like we're conflating a lot of different types of like harassment or whatever that you could get and collapsing it down into one thing, which is just, The thing that Ru's done wrong, very simply, is to point to something that turned out to be a very clear and obvious joke, and is repeatedly referring to that as like some sort of serious threat to life or something like that, after they found out that it's just a stupid joke or meme. That's the issue.
And then maybe make the statement, but sure.
I mean, I watched your video.
There's also the additional context of all the stuff that happened that you don't have access to. The stuff that happened behind the scenes, the videos they were sending me, the death threats. I can see clearly now that they were trying to amp me up and make me very reactive so they could get this kind of reaction. But it doesn't, that doesn't erase all the events before it. I'm telling you the truth when I said this scared me. There was my gym like what was it? It was Planet Fit. It was Gold's Gym. This was in Arlington, and the first person.
Sorry, I have to interrupt because we're circling on this one point. We've been circling for like 10 minutes on this one point, which is just.
I'm going to finish my point because this is really clear.
Holy fuck!
Write it down, Kuihman.
Yeah, write it down, buddy. So
write it down, buddy.
When I got sent this video, my first reaction was actually to call the Arlington PD. Was it the Arlington PD? No, it was someone in the state prosecutor's office. That was my literal first reaction to send it to them because I was so fucking scared about that. So I feel like there's.
I mean, dude, I do look. I've got some sympathy for getting some schizo video and freaking out about it, but like, I don't know, man. It's just like, it's kind of absurd. Like, surely, especially when it's identified this as some joke. That would be it. That would be the end of it, you know?
Interpretation here. Like, crazy. I couldn't possibly have trauma from all this
I've actually spent half his time muted.
My perception of stuff.
Kuihman, did you write it down? Go.
Well, I didn't have anything to say. I was just going to say, let's move on past this, because if you're just going to keep saying, no, I really was scared. I really was scared. It's like you're not convincing me.
There's a point I want to come to, because this really reinforces what I'm talking about here, where there's a bad faith lens.
There's no bad
assumption.
faith there. That's fine.
There is bad faith.
I think lying is the ultimate bad faith move. That's happened a few times in this conversation.
Oh, muting. Oh, where we go? Yo, we're back to muting. Let's go.
Act like adults. There's an assumption here that there is like hiding facts or being dishonest. So, Connor, one of the things you said was in the video. This is from your list of stuff. Jesse Gender DMs. I agree with your goal, all of it. What I don't do is sell the radical part, right? That is in this video. So basically what
it's a mutiny.
True. Here, I would assume is that basically I am for minors getting HRT without permission. Kuihman, is that what you basically meant in that part?
No, that's not what I meant. I meant that
what did you mean?
I'm not sure. Your wording is vague there. I don't know what your specific beliefs.
I'm just asking what you meant.
Yeah, sure. I'm saying, I'm explaining. Your wording is vague, so I can't
show you what was there right before it.
Are you okay for me to just finish what I'm saying? Your wording is vague there, so I'm not entirely sure to what level you're radical in private versus public. My point was showing that you're willing to say you're willing to make arguments that you don't necessarily believe, but you think they will achieve an end. That's the point that I'm.
Connor, is that the context of it there? Is that how he was presenting it?
So
it's in my section about trans
basically, the way that I would phrase it is quote unquote hiding your power level. That's the way that I would. That's the way I would phrase it.
So let's, Connor, I DM this to you. Can you put this up on screen? This is what I was actually talking to Jesse about. It's a lot
for the sake of not interrupting the screen. I don't want to screw up the Streamlabs, but basically I see the Jesse Gender DMs. I see both of you interacting. I can verify that it's true. And
so
I can.
What I'm saying here, look at what I'm talking about. Jesse is making an allegation here. And she's saying your views lead to harm for non-binary and non-medicating trans folks, not to mention stuff from Israel. And then what I'm replying to in Jesse Gender's DM is, look, this is what you don't get. I agree with your goal, all of it, meaning dignity for non-binary people and people that don't want to medically transition. I don't think they should be dehumanized. This is actually a very common accusation that's made against me, that I don't care about non-binary people. So, this is what we're talking about there. Y'all took this in bad faith or making it sound like I've got radical politics behind the scenes.
You do.
No, I'm responding to something completely different.
That doesn't make a lot, but you engage in that same dehumanization of non-binary people, don't you?
Okay, now we're moving the flag, the goalpost.
No, I'm okay with this because this is a bullet point. So, okay, so I'll say that looking at the DM, the prior DM or whatever, the term is trans liberation. That's what they're talking about. So basically, they're saying they share the goal of trans liberation. And then this was another bullet point from the video was that Brianna is a hypocrite for sweeping for trans people, but criticizes non-binary people in DMs and shit talks them in DMs. So, Kuihman, you seem eager to talk about that.
Well, yeah, I just think that would be a strange thing for you to be saying, given that even in private, you're not. It's not just that you're in public. You're saying, "Oh, we don't need to crusade for non-binary people and other kin and whatever else." You're saying in private.
Whoa. Kuihman hates Brianna Wu so much. He's about to advocate for non-binary people. Let's go.
You're saying if you want to be treated like a woman, maybe don't look like a transvestite. That's what you're saying. People in private. So that seems
I made
odd to
some
me.
really mean comments about someone with some friends, and I've apologized for that. I imagine if I looked at your DM, I'd probably find some mean comments.
Oh yeah, I say some heinous stuff, but I would never claim otherwise, and I would certainly never apologize for it and then get caught doing it again a month later. That's a key part as well, isn't it? And then you started threatening Ollie, the Omnipooner, as well in DMs.
Oh God. Okay.
Oh, I heard a bit about this. Yeah, there was some drama with leaked DMs or something.
This is another example of the bad faith. This is a perfect example. So with this nut job who has done nothing but stalk me for months now and obsess about this.
Okay, that's
what do
wonderful.
I say?
Oh, stalker.
Off depressed people.
Obsessed.
On your knees, DK is waiting, or do you
Oh, the classic words coming out. Thank you for the $5.
To him.
What does stalking mean? Can I just ask?
Hold on. No,
I would like you to be
we're gonna
specific
stay
about
on
that. I would like you to be very specific with that accusation, please. What does
We
stalking
are going to
mean?
go, and I'm going to make my point, and you can listen to it like a big boy. So, if
Listen
you
to
grew up
this
in the 90s,
effortry, man. Listen to this
one of the
effortry.
most
What a
popular
nasty little
artists
bitch.
was Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. So there's a moment, I don't know, Connor, you may know this. Is it on Snoop Dogg's album or is it Dre Day where Snoop goes, blah, 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 we can handle this like gentlemen or we can get into some gangster shit. And that's what I was quoting right there. Should I have thought about that for more than half a second, that someone that is not in their 40s is going to understand a Dr. Dre reference? Probably, but I think most people my age would understand that. Can I understand how you perceive it as a threat? Maybe, if you want to do that. But I was quoting Dr. Dre. I don't threaten people in private. I don't even know who this dude is hardly. I don't give a shit about him. I've muted him and blocked him, and we have just he's a joke. It is sad the degree to which he's obsessed with this.
So would you refer to that threat as an obvious joke that no reasonable person would see as credible?
I think that I would say, I think I said the opposite, where I can understand why someone would think that that was not the best said. And, you know,
that's
think,
not quite what we were talking about.
Dude.
Not the best said. It was about whether it was a threat. So you keep reframing. It's crazy.
We're going to be brave here.
Also, I've been interrupted so many times. I've been interrupted so many times.
If you look at his DMs later, you will say that I'm sorry if that made you feel uncomfortable. I think I said that to him directly. I'll say it to him again here on the show. You know, I was pissed off at the time. I was quoting Dr. Dre, and obviously the reference was lost on him. But
I mean, yeah, that is, you know, so one person's meme or joke is another person's serious threat. A little bit inconsistent there. A little bit inconsistent, I would say. Kuihman won, yeah. I don't know. Like, I think regardless of anything else, it doesn't. You know, Kuihman's done a very good job. All things can, you know. Obviously, I like Kuihman. Okay, I'm biased towards Kuihman, but I'm trying to put that to one side to think. Okay, putting that to one side, what does that matter really in the grand scheme of things? And yeah. It's like he's done a great job. He's made some salient points. I don't know. The muting is an instant L. That's an L straight away. You can't just keep muting the person that you're talking to. That's insane. But yeah. Good job, Kuihman. And anyone that would watch this and would say different is hopelessly biased. I don't know, like, you could fucking despise Kuihman with every fibre of your being and still recognise that he's done a stand-up job here and had to put up with a lot of muting and bullshit, you know? Like, if you're nitpicking at absolute worst, he's been a touch boisterous at times, but it's been extremely minimal, and it's often just been muted straight away. But anyway.
I think the goal here with, what is his name, Pooner or whatever, it's not to, like it's to dig up dirt and to do exactly what you're doing, which is a smear job for, social media attention. It's not a good faith exercise here. Like, he's looking for clout, and it's very obvious.
But I'm not lying though. But you've said several mistruths at least in this conversation. I don't think I've.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think. Me and the Omnipooner have spoken from time to time, and I don't know. I've never gotten the vibe that they're anything. They're just like a person. I don't know. Like they're not out to fucking stalk anyone and do anything like that. They just obviously aren't a fan of Brianna Wu and just want to say their shit. I don't know. I don't think it's that big a deal. It's not that deep, I didn't initiate any Oh, hey, how's it going on the phone? Your name's a literal slur.
Okay, that's
I didn't initiate
wonderful.
any contact
But
with this.
how do I make money off depressed people?
If you get to talk to Connor, please bring up the Vosh wheelchair symbol, sweeping.
Thank you very much for the €5. Yeah, if Counterpoints was to come on, we can talk about that, sure.
Had any.
I'm not live down.
You got the.
Although, I mean, I have to talk about that, but Kuihman, I don't know if Kuihman wants to come on, but yeah.
Details wrong, at least. Like I said, at least they were mistruths you were speaking, that you've been speaking for several years.
Okay.
It just seems weird to be accused of being bad faith after you've been, not telling the truth.
I think that there's no one that can survive this format. If you comb through everything someone has ever said publicly, especially someone that makes as much media as I do and is addicted to Twitter, it's really frustrating because this inevitably comes up. You could do this with anyone, point them out to be a liar or a hypocrite. It's just I don't know what to tell you. I'm a normal person. I try to speak to stuff as accurately and fairly as I can. I change my mind on things. I try to be truthful in how I represent myself. Yeah, I occasionally get stuff wrong. I mean, this should not surprise you.
No, it doesn't surprise me.
So, all right, I feel like we should back up, hit 2 points, and then honestly, I think we're probably going to hit at least the last point that I noted. There were other ones, but I don't feel like they're as relevant. This is kind of checking a box. What was the point of the DIY HRT and Bob posting pink pilling and bank robbing? I have an inference, but I'm not going to share it. If you could do it, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I just wanted to. The reason why I like that Mutar segment is because it shows how ubiquitous and constant the posting about this was from Careful.
Hang on a minute. Wait. I forgot to mention this actually. And now it's just been brought up. Kuihman? Creating the Mutar. What is this? Hey? Kuihman including the clip of the Mutar video. Oh my goodness. Unbelievable.
And Bob posting.
Curious.
You couldn't have avoided Bob posting and Careful's rambling about pink pilling minors. You really couldn't have. They were doing it constantly. So I just don't know how I'm supposed to believe that Brianna has all of a sudden come to this realization that, oh, this is really bad and we should call it out. That's just very odd.
I have no idea who Bob posting was before that video. I've never seen Keffels talk about this stuff to my recollection.
So did you? Sorry, I just ask.
Yeah, this just feels. I mean, Kuihman's gonna handle things, I'm sure, but it just seems like complete bullshit in cap.
Did you ever look at the Destiny Manifesto?
Yeah, I watched it 3 times.
That she's gone over extensively in that manifesto, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Destiny Manifesto was very thorough and went through, it was all there. I think the only thing that Mutar covered that the manifesto didn't go into was the Catboy Rant stuff. I think that was decided that was too much to get into and didn't have enough good solid grounding to, go into the manifesto. But other than that, I mean, the 100K stuff I think was there. Obviously, more information has since come out that's further bolstered it. The pink pilling minor stuff was there. Yeah, that was all present. So yeah.
With the bank robbing or the pink pilling?
No, not the bank robbing. The pink pill, the Bob posting stuff.
The pink pilling stuff. But your statement was, I had to have seen her talking about that stuff, right? And
you no. My issue there was that you just told me you had no idea who she was, but now you've said you have seen the Destiny Manifesto and you know that she was.
I'm telling you, Bob posting, I had not understood that and put those links together until I was talking to Mudahar the other day.
I remember going over the Destiny Manifesto, and I think the thing that we ended up picking out as a segment for for the channel was the bit about the fucking DIYHRT, because it was so shocking. It was so shocking, the extent of it and what was going on. I remember covering it and thinking like, fuck, this is crazy. Like, they're getting fucking kids involved and shit, right? Like, it was such a big point of the whole thing. Yeah. It was like, this is crazy. But somehow that wasn't noticed. Yeah, it was like, yeah, exactly. It was like the big standout thing. Like, even the 100K back then, even the 100K, I think that now is a lot stronger to argue because, you know, there's much more information you can point to. But with the DIYHRT, I don't think there's anything that's come out between Destiny's Manifesto and Mutahar's video that has really bolstered it. Like, that was there all along, right? Well, except for the fucking point about the person getting arrested for theft, for the thing. For the bank thing, you know? But yeah.
I watch a ton of YouTube content, man.
Okay. So,
bottom line is you're trying to point out this hypocrisy where, like, I'm supposedly like supporting HRT for minors, and I just don't.
I'm not saying you're supporting it. I'm saying that it was a warning sign that took you off of Keffals. I'm saying you're misrepresenting me. I have to stop you from misrepresenting
like an adult, man. This is
if you're going to just misrepresent me and lie,
you could literally, if you're doing a good faith analysis, trying to find out, does Brianna support HRT for minors? You could go look at my public statements on this over years, and you would find example after example after example of me.
But the point is, if you're against DIYHRT and the manifesto came out which laid it all out, why was there not more, you know, energy for that criticism back then? Why is it only now that it's happening when all of those messages existed, all of the stuff about pink penguin minors was there, like it was all there, right?
Not doing this. I have not supported DIY hormones for a really, really, really long time.
Okay, Kuihman's up for it after this. So yeah, we'll get Kuihman and counterpoints on, and I will moderate the conversation because clearly no one else can fucking moderate or knows how to handle a conversation, okay? And I will do it fairly.
So it's like you go to look for this evidence that reaches the conclusion that Brianna Wu is a hypocrite or a liar. And
I'm not going to, no one's getting
these public statements. And it's fundamentally not an exercise in honesty.
Okay, I can say I'm against murder, but then if one of my friends kills someone and I keep helping them get jobs and connections, you would probably say that like I'm being permissive of that person killing someone, right?
So the stuff in the Destiny Manifesto, as I remember it, I remember watching it and give me some goodwill here because I'm trying to remember a video that came out 2 years ago. But I remember thinking at the time that I didn't think it was that conclusive, or I didn't feel like it was the strongest argument for many reasons. The biggest one being I didn't think that Destiny drew the line between the stuff that was happening on whatever that site was and Keffals herself.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that in the manifesto, there were the tweets of Keffals saying crazy shit about transing kids. Am I mistaken? And the fact that Keffals sponsored it. Which is a direct link to what is going on there. Right? I mean, I feel I'm getting gaslit right now. The only thing I think of Mutahar's video that was fresh to me that I hadn't seen before was the point about this Chloe blog posting person getting arrested for the crime. Well, yeah, exactly. The connection was the sponsorship, which is a de facto endorsement of it, because then when challenged, Keffals would say all these comments about transing kids. But yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Have DK be the moderator of Counterpoints Kuihman, so he can be fair just like
Thank you for the $5. No, listen. I could be fair. We'll get them on. There'll be no muting. I know you think it's funny, but I'm not going to do the thing that I think is wrong just for a laugh. That's really fucking annoying, okay? But yeah, I'm fair.
And I remember like the connection seemed to me that Keffels wrote a check to basically keep a website in business, and
Okay, that's
Destiny was
wonderful. But
attributing
how do I
everything that
make
happened on the
money off
website to
depressed people?
Keffels.
Hey, Electagoose. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. That's super generous. Thank you. Chud hates cowboys just as much as I do. I don't hate cowboys as much as you do. I just find his stuff with Wu insufferable and annoying. And I'm just like, why? Why are you, you know, why do you sweep so hard for this person? It's crazy. But anyway,
like personally
I'll be fair.
cheerleading it. And as someone who has funded a lot of different things over my career, I just don't look at everything that granular. So I didn't find it compelling. What I did find about the Mutahar video is he drew the lines and then he's drawing the lines with people I know like Maya. So it was a much stronger case. So I evaluated that in different terms there. And if you look at the Beckett video, you can see me saying over and over and over again, I do not support that with Keffels.
Yeah, so just a couple of things there. First of all, those lines were drawn, aside from the Maya thing, which I'll get back to in a second.
Sure.
The lines were drawn by Destiny. Keffels had a banner ad on her site for a very long time that was for DIY HRT, and they had a bot command in chat that would spam out adverts for DIY HRT. And it was widely known that there was a partnership, not just a check, but a partnership between Keffels and the DIY HRT stuff. The Maya thing, it's weird that you bring that up and say that's why you changed your mind, because the other day you were saying that was the weakest part of Mutahar's video and that you shouldn't take the things that Maya was posting seriously. So now that seems odd to me.
We're talking about two different things here. We're talking, Mutahar was talking in his video about, I was giving a critique about the culture of how he's taking everything. It's actually very similar to the Keffels like addiction thing, where like this dry comment between people is interpreted as like deadly serious, and it's just wry humor between friends. The thing I'm telling you with Maya is when I rewatched that video after that appearance and looked at what Maya had said about her levels being off, and then she went to a doctor later.
Oh, sorry, that's another thing that's an L on my part. Another thing I forgot. The Maya stuff with the person that said that they'd gotten these drugs and they didn't adjust their levels of whatever fucking hormone, right? That was another aspect. Yeah. Okay.
That, because it's someone I know, I can judge that and go, okay, I know Maya. She's probably telling the truth here. This is not some anonymous
another
account
10 minutes
here.
20 minutes.
This is really credible. So does that make sense to you that I had a different assessment there because of it?
Not really. No, I mean the evidence was always there. The Maya stuff I can understand. Maybe you're like, oh, it personally affected someone I know, so now I care. But the evidence, as far
as
it's
a credibility issue. It's not that I care. It's
I don't know what the credibility is. The evidence was there. It was laid out clearly. I'm not.
That's the difference here, because there's all kinds of anonymous users on the internet, and I can't always take those claims seriously. But if Mutahar is putting something in the video of someone taking sites from, what is it called? Something labs, and their levels aren't right, and it's someone I actually know, that gives me a different assessment of the credibility of those claims.
Yeah,
but wait a second, Mutahar showed the tweets. I just think that, I mean, there was another thing like this as well. Oh, it was the same thing when the trans person came out against Starksphere came out, and a bunch of people all of a sudden like, oh my god, Keffels is bad actually. It's like, why does it have to? What is this identity politics bullshit? Why does it matter what gender identity they are? It's like either someone is right or wrong about something, which can come down to your ideology. But like, what is it? Do you think this stuff's okay or not? Regardless of like if a trans person has got some comments on it. Like surely at a fundamental level, one would have a problem. Well, not everyone does, obviously, but you would have a problem with the idea that this website is getting promoted to minors and stuff, you know. But yeah.
Pharmaceutical. That was covered in Destiny's Manifesto as well. I'm really not seeing what the evidence is that Mood presented you already, but that's okay.
My assessment would be that the first time that you saw like Destiny's Manifesto or whatever, I don't think you were trying to rebuild the bridge, at least timeline wise.
Yeah.
Wait, so wait a second. So whether or not you're building a bridge with someone factors into whether or not you take what they say. That's terrible. Wait, what? Why does that matter? Whether you're building a bridge or so, it shouldn't matter. It should be, okay, I like or don't like this person. Let me put that to one side and assess the information that they're presenting. Why would it matter whether or not you're trying to build a bridge with someone? It's whether or not you take what they say seriously. Fucking hell, dude. That's crazy.
Such an indictment.
Destiny. Hold on, can I just explain my mindset? I was really angry at Destiny there. I've never talked to him about this, but the Chloe Segal stuff, I was really frustrated that made it in there just because there is such a different behind the scenes story. Yeah, I don't think he's a bad person to have added it. Like he's saying stuff that's factually true, but I mean, it's someone I know that died in a really, really, really violent, bloody way. And I don't...
Oh, is that one of the people that is accused of, you know, topping themselves? Is that right?
No, I was definitely more Team Keffels back then when I was watching it, so I probably discounted it more than I should have.
Yeah, I mean, this checks out with sort of what I'm saying about you, is that you're making decisions and statements based on your connections and not based on any actual engagement with the subject.
I think I've engaged pretty... Yeah.
No, you just told me that you didn't engage with the manifesto properly and didn't take the evidence seriously because you had a connection with Keffels. That's what you just told me.
I've only talked like 1% of the time, so all of y'all are just going to have to indulge me.
Fair.
I have been doing a show called Too Long Didn't Watch, where I'm watching old debates. And the way that I remember a debate was Sargon of Akkad got blown the fuck out by Destiny. Because he just kept repeating the same argument over and over again. That was my memory of this debate. I'm watching it again, and I'm taking notes. And as I'm taking notes, I'm seeing Sargon make half a dozen points that didn't even register with me at the time. And the reason why is because at the time, I was emotionally biased towards Destiny's side instead of trying to view it objectively. And I think we all consume content in a slanted way, where our relationships basically color the way that we perceive things. So if what it took was somebody I know is being personally affected by this, and on top of that, the person who's the subject.
I mean, that is a failing. That's fine. I mean, of course, you know, you're going to have some impact of your personal biases, but you should try and put that to one side when you're trying to assess whether or not something is true. Like, it is a failing to let your personal bias cloud it to the point where you've got just factual stuff there sitting you in the face. There we go. That should be it. That should be enough. You know, I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, of course you're going to have a bias, and of course you're going to think a certain way about it. I've experienced this, you know, particularly some of the lefty stuff back in the day, you know, where it's like, I've definitely come to bad conclusions. It's like you trust that someone is saying something correct. And so you kind of go, okay, well, I'll go along with that, you know? But you should try, especially if someone of Brianna Wu's experience and knowledge, it should not be a case that you're letting your feelings judge the cold, hard facts in front of you, you know?
Backstab me, and as a result, I'm analyzing this information more objectively. I don't think that's like a specific character flaw to Brianna. I think that's how most humans process information.
I think that if at a certain point when the stakes are so high that it's $100,000 that has probably been scammed out of the trans community, out of probably people who are pretty poor that are giving money.
Meme, it's 60,000, but yeah,
sorry,
continue.
Yeah, whatever. It's all a scam because it's built off of a lie in the first place, Connor. Because it wasn't Kiwi Farms that did it. Okay, so it's all a scam actually. But beyond the point,
Keffels allegedly didn't know that it wasn't Kiwi Farms at the time of the swatting.
That's allegedly. I don't think that's true. I thought she admitted that she did know, but she decided to
no. That's not true. I don't think that's true, is it? There was, you know, this is okay. I'm not stating this 100% certainty because obviously this is off the top of my head, but I'm fairly certain that there was some messages that were revealed or some sort of thing was leaked that showed that Keffels did know that it was Dogspin at the time. And Dogspin, and they pinned it on Kiwi Farms as a sort of intentional act in order to try and get them taken down. It was an intentional thing. And she always knew that it was Dogspin. And then obviously later it changed to...
Welcome
to
Chud Nation.
Oh, it was actually my ex that made me move. Incorrect. But in any case, yeah. Kevin's probably knew admitted it later, right? Okay. Yeah, but then the later admission means that at the time Keffels knew, because in order to pin it on Kiwi Farms, knowing that it was Dogspin, that information would need to be known at the time, right?
Kiwi Farms
the quote was she didn't know until after the campaign had already started, and she didn't think that there was enough momentum to go after Dogspin.
Throwing me off of what I was going to say now.
My bad.
What did you just talk about? What did you just talk about? Oh, sorry, that's it. The stakes are higher when you're a public-facing activist with a large following who's got a lot of trust from left-wing communities, and you're vouching for a...
Oh, you're saying Corner's incorrect. Right, okay, got you, okay. Yeah. Got it, okay. Perfect. I got you.
A fundraiser. There's a different level of stakes there.
This is what I think anyone... Hold on just one second, Connor. I think anyone... Like, this has basically been the last 2 years of my life, right? So I started off really not liking Destiny, like completely hating him. We got off in a huge public Twitter feud at one point, and me really siding with Keffels, partially because Kiwi Farms had gone after me so hard, right? After that, I started watching a lot of Destiny's content, and I start going, oh, this guy's actually extremely talented. I really like the way he's talking about this stuff.
Oh my God. The honey pouring. The fucking honey pouring never stops with this person, does it? Destiny's not even here to listen to this fucking disgusting honey pouring that's happening right now. And I think the thing is with this is kind of, from what I can tell, a pattern of behavior with Brianna, where it's like there's a sinking ship and it's trying to latch on to the next ship that is in front of you to try and get away from the destruction that's being caused by the ship that's sinking, you know? Yeah, it's very snaky. It's like, yeah, like a very ratty move, isn't it? It is, yeah, of course it is, yeah. I've spoken on this before, how it feels like honey's being poured in your ears and it's very uncomfortable. You know, I'm not a fan of it. It's very politically slimy kind of operator move, you know? It's like media training, isn't it, you know? People are just okay with it because you're on their side now. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. But, you know, I just think... I don't know. I personally would keep Brianna at kind of arm's length just because she's a very sneaky individual. And obviously Cowboys has set up a show with her. What can you do, hey?
Here. And, you know, I got to be friends with Kyla. And, you know, slowly, like, I built this bridge with DJG. And to be really honest, I think he's kind of converted me over to that worldview, right? I think you can see this in my public actions. I'm a lot more pro free speech than I probably was 2 years ago. And
the thing is, this is the problem, is it's fine to have a change of heart and a change of perspective. And you obviously can't account for everything you've ever said that you then disagree with and think is wrong. It's very difficult to do that when you've said so much stuff over a period of time, right? But like, you have to at least have some, if someone challenges you on and asks you about it, you need to be able to go, yep, I was wrong about that, you know? Yep, I messed up there. I was wrong about this. I was wrong about that. Or something like that. But it just doesn't really seem to happen with Brianna. There's always a reason or excuse that justifies the retarded shit that happened even all those years ago. But yeah.
Look back at the, like, Keffels Destiny fight here, and I understand a lot of the things that Keffels did, like, were really out of bounds now. Like, there was a lot of context that I didn't understand back then, like her, getting his Wikipedia edited with sexual misconduct allegations. So I think if you look at the totality of where I've gone for the last 2 years, from starting in this place where I'm instinctively on Keffel's side, to building this bridge with DGG, making a very hard break with the progressive left on October 7th, which has been extremely painful for my career, and to where I
see that as well. It feels like a very like political move, you know? People see it as genuine.
Okay, that's wonderful. But
I
how
just
do
see
I
it as
make
very political.
money off depressed people?
If
you know?
all of your beliefs are based on friendships and bridges, you have no beliefs.
Thank you for the $5. And the thing is, this is a bit disingenuous. It's hurt you, in one direction. Like something can hurt your career in one direction, but help in another, you know? Because obviously there's another side to that equation. And if you're, coming away from the progressives on the Israel-Palestine thing, there's a big Israel side there that's going to be beneficial for you, right?
Chud, I remind you of the
Don't be anti-Semitic, chat. You know what I'm trying to say?
Months ago, prior to Sunday's video about her originally being obscure, putting out information, and you were confused. Random prep.
Yeah, I think that was the last time I spoke to Brianna, and it felt, and I said it felt like my channel was getting used as some sort of like, effort to put out some news or information, and I just wasn't into it. I was like, no, that's no. If I'm covering something and you want to come on and talk about it or something, like, fine. But it was weird. It was like, no, you can't just come on and use my platform to get ahead of a story. That's crazy. Like, if I'm talking about something, you got something to say, that's fine. But yeah, it was a very odd, like, almost treating it like I'm some sort of news station and you can come on and get your story out ahead of everyone else. No. Didn't like it. Did not like it. And fun enough, after that, we haven't really spoken at all, I think, since that happened. So yeah, I think that was, an unspoken situation of like, oh, I guess I can't just go on Chud's channel and pump out information to get ahead of a story. But yeah.
I am today, where I'm doing stuff like trigonometry, I think there's a very consistent like pattern of shift here. And I think there's so much evidence there that this is in good faith. It is what I genuinely think. My opinions have genuinely changed. I just think it's cynicism to not see that.
That I have a point that I want to make off the piggyback, and then I want to let Kuihman go, and then I want to make the final point. And we're actually hitting 90 minutes. We agreed to be together for an hour. Kuihman, I know that I said that I would hang out with your Spurgs, but it turns out I have another commitment at 8:30 p.m. So if your callers want to talk to me another day, I'm happy to do it, but probably not tonight. And then what I wanted to say is Kuihman has an at-home advantage. This is part of the reason why I like the cynicism of the commentary community, is that in politics, oftentimes what politics is building relationships, building bridges, trying to get people who have...
Get your fucking Twitch poll shit. Honestly, I am... Look, okay? I don't want to... Listen. I don't want to fucking suck myself off here, okay? But this little pattern that I've noticed that I find really irritating, okay, is that not to fucking suck myself off too much, okay? But obviously, I can't not see my figures. I can't not see the amount of money that I'm making, okay? I can't not see how my channel is growing. What I feel like is like people will look at me and they see it as this almost model or something like that, And it's like, oh, Chud used to do Twitch poll and now he's doing commentary and drama stuff. And, it's like trying to latch on. I feel like I've got people, I'm trying to climb aboard something and there's people behind me grab it. Fuck off! Get off me! Fuck off! Go away! Stop! No, it's not going to happen, okay? Go back to your fucking doldrums of your shitty 10-viewer stream. Literally don't care. Fuck off. I was never, for me, it was never like, oh, I'm going to do commentary and infiltrate commentary. It was just, okay, this is the way I want to take my channel. This is the direction that I want to go. And so I'm just going to fucking, go that way. And at first, it was a bit rough, choppy waters, It was like, oh, because obviously... At the start, I think you start to put videos out that aren't your kind of content you were doing before, and it doesn't kind of hit quite the same. And you got to kind of twist and turn and get it to where you want it to be. And then you start fucking raking it in. The multi-streaming helped as well, but then you start fucking, you start moving forward. And you're like, okay, I'm picking up some commentary viewers, people that maybe watch Nicholas and Augie and stuff like that, are watching me now. Now I'm doing that kind of content. But there's these people that have seen that, and it's like they want the shortcut, and they want to fucking swipe in there, and like get in on the commentary stuff. No, look. You can do what you want, okay? You can do whatever you want to do. Good luck to you. But like, and I'm happy to boost people up if they want to fucking talk. I just find it really frustrating that it's like it feels like, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong on this, okay? Could be wrong. But it feels like people look at me, they're almost like a model or something. I'm like, no. Stop it.
That's wonderful.
Enough.
But how do I make money off depression?
Chud has a discount Zanderhall. True. Because the problem, for me,
okay, that's wonderful.
it's like,
but how do I make money off depression?
I don't want to make it a political thing where I'm like, oh yeah, man, I'm going to like talk about politics and convert everyone to what I think about the world and stuff like that. You know, in many ways, I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to make the content I want to make. And if people want to watch me, great. Anyway, I don't know. I hate talking about myself in such positive ways because I am a retard at the end of the day. But I don't know, man. It's just very frustrating.
Have money, clout, and influence to share goals, to work together towards a common goal. And that's obviously going to bias you when you're a part of a tribe. Part of what I think is valuable about commentary is the fact that they really don't have a tribe. They're kind of a bunch of fucking piranha waiting at the bottom of the fucking lake, waiting to rip you to fucking shreds, because at the end of the day, they're there for that. Not necessarily building a tribe and pushing in the same direction. Kuihman, I want to let you go, and then I want to bring up the final point that I had kind of as a closing out.
Let me go on what I don't even remember what was being said before you gave that.
If you have any response to Brianna or me for the past minute, or I can go into the last spot.
Yeah, I would.
And also, like, there's been a very the money influence in Twitch poll has been this kind of poison that has propped up the dead careers of people, you know, who without the fucking progressive victory cash would probably be nothing at this stage. And it's like, yeah, it sucks. Oh, sorry, I muted the thing. So thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. You know, it had its time, and now it's kind of died off, and that's that. You know. Okay. I think we'll try and get the Omnipooner on as well. That is a slur, and I disavow it, but that's how they choose to refer to themselves. It is what it is. We'll also try and get that cleared up too. But first of all, well, let's finish this, and then we'll see about getting Kuihman and counterpoints on.
Just like to the change in behaviour and the addressing of the mistruths that have been spread over many years would be great, but I don't think that's.
Pooner's a slur.
Personally.
Well,
I mean,
this might allow you to repeat yourself in a second then.
Oh my god. Spin Voice of the 5 gifted, thank you. Very generous, appreciate that, thank you.
Was don't let Brianna placate you with niceties and talk about bridge building considering her history. The next comment was watched and supported every terrible action Keffels did. I don't think we should take that comment because we basically just moved past that comment. But you're saying that this change is not genuine. So what I would say is, Brianna, we're hitting. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go for it. Sorry. Okay.
What I was going to say is we agreed to 60 minutes. We've been here for 90. I have an engagement at 8:30. I think this was sufficiently, like, we moved through all the points and addressed them. Maybe not to everybody's satisfaction, but we did address them. So do you have anything that you want to talk about in reference to maybe your evolution over the past like year or two and whether or not, you know, it's genuine? I think you just did, but if you want to.
Oh my god, dude. I can't listen to that, man. It's too much. I think I'm done with that, honestly. I can't bear it, man. Go on, say about how much you've changed and how much genuine it is.